Amen.
There you go. There you go. Okay, if the council will take their seats, it's 10 o'clock at this time, and we're going to call this meeting to order. Please take your seats.
Danita Harjo.
Okay, I want to call this the general council meeting of the June quarterly meeting on June 4th to order. And I want to make this announcement before we go into roll call. I have received two vacancies, or what we would call similar to what we would associate with resignations from two council representatives, one being from the Nuska Parjo Band with Miss Andrea Scraper, and the other being with Miss Natalie Harjo with the Wasley Band. So those two bands there, I'm going to request that we have other business to officially declare vacant seats for those under other business for those two bands. That's according to Article 9 of the Constitution, that the council can declare a vacancy. So these two representatives have read the office of chief. And as the chair, I announce those two vacancies, resignations to the council today. Secretary, call the roll.
Sampson,
Here.
Anthony Conley. Anthony Conley. John Narcomi.
Here.
Rena Tiger.
Here.
Anastasia Pittman.
Here.
Terry Edwards. Nancy Fixico.
You okay?
Ida Gonzalez. Tamara Downey. Here.
How you doing?
Eat.
Why did you come wait? You get it.
Joseph Billy.
Here.
Yeah. That's that little pocket change. Great. And they told me at 11 o'clock. I looked at that phone. I said, oh, keep that moving. Did you look? In the second one?
Here. Ann Borba.
Here.
Stephanie Lambert. Cindy Yesla.
Here.
Lottie Cootie. Ella Coleman. Shirley Watkins. Here. Tiffany Thomas.
Here.
Catherine Coy. Here.
Here.
Tiffany Cully.
Here.
Danita Harjo.
Here.
Desiree Emerson. I have a count of 23 present, 3 absent.
Okay. With a count of 23 present and 3 absent, I declare that we do have a quorum and we are now in session. Now, as far as other business, the chief does have, according to the code, the right to ask for other business because of serious concern to the council. One of the other business would be to declare the vacancies of the 2 bands that we mentioned earlier. The other would be to discuss also how we're going forward as far as what we call hybrid meetings from this point on, and see if we all want to come back together in an in-house meeting. Okay, so that's what I think is under other business. There is one other item that I would ask of the council to consider, and it would be when the friendly amendment was made to the churches and ceremonial grounds. I believe that it was made in a manner and a way in haste, though it was passed by the council. There were some that obviously voted no because they knew it would leave some of those churches that were streamed from a mother church out. So we have a resolution that I would like the council to consider that actually includes within 5 miles outside of our bounds or boundaries. And it's not a practice that has not been that has been set as a precedence in the Seminole Nation over the years, both in housing and other types of programs have allowed that. And these are ARPA funds, and I know that that was a quick, friendly amendment, but what this particular resolution would do was just extend those boundaries 5 miles outside of our present jurisdiction. There are some churches that are from the mother churches and also ones that are significantly populated with Seminole populations in their congregation, just literally feet or a mile or so outside of that. And we're having to deny based on what the council did with the friendly amendment. If you would just consider that, I must, as the chief, as the Miko of the Seminole Nation, bring that concern to you of our people. So I'm going to ask those items there that I just mentioned to be come up under other business. Is there any objections to that? There's no objections to it, then those 3 items will be added after new business is addressed. Okay, there is no unfinished business at this time. But I do want to say on Tribal Ordinance 2002-05, it is germane to some actions that possibly will be confirmed by the council toward the end of the agenda. And what I would request of the council, if there's no objection to it, to move this tribal ordinance to the very end of the new business, because that's where the resolutions that are germane to this topic also lie. Does everyone understand that? And is there any objections to doing that? So that all these items that are related to one another will be addressed at the same time. With no objections to that, we will move Tribal Ordinance 2022-05 toward the bottom of new business to be associated with the other resolutions that are germane to that tribal ordinance. Okay, reports of committees. Opening prayer. Thank you, Chief Palmer. That's what we're fixing. That's what Chief Palmer just said. Willis, why don't you lead us in opening prayer this morning? Amen. Thank you, Representative Dithers. Okay, reading of the minutes, actually, General Council minutes, April 9th, 2022. General Council meeting minutes, May 7th of 2022. What does the council desire to do? Representative Dethridge, you have the floor. Okay, we have a motion to approve both sets of minutes, April 9th and May 17th, as they were presented in the handouts by the council secretary, and it was seconded by Representative Gonzalez. Secretary, call the roll.
Leota Sampson,
Yes.
Anthony Conley,
Unmuted.
John Narkemy,
Yes.
Rena Tiger,
Yes.
Anastasia Pittman,
Yes.
Terry Edwards, Nancy Fixico, Ida Gonzalez, Tamara Downey,
Yes.
Leon Petit,
Yes.
Joseph Billy,
Yes.
Dolores Harjo, Karen Fulbright,
Muted.
Ann Borba, Stephanie Lambert, Tina Yesla,
Yes.
Lottie Cootie, Ella Coleman, Shirley Watkins, Tiffany Thomas,
Yes.
Catherine McCoy, Charlie Hill, Tiffany Cully,
Yes.
Danita Harjo, Willis Dethridge, Desiree Emerton, I have a count of 24 yes, 0 no, 0 abstentions.
With a count of 24 yes, 0 no, and 0 abstentions, I declare that the reading of the minutes have been passed as presented to the council for April 9th, 2022 and May 17th, 2022. Now we are in unfinished business, which there's none at this time. So we're into reports of committees. Representative McCoy, you have the floor. We do have Miss Representative Gonzalez here. She is on the Finance Committee.
Hello, can they hear me? Okay. So can you tell me why you did not submit a report? So with her, if I understand it right, I thought she stepped down from the council. Did she also step down from the committee as well? Okay. And can you at least tell me when your last meeting was and were all the board members present? Is Representative Pittman on your committee? Okay, thank you.
Representative Hill, you have the floor. Princess Committee? for the sake that that's watching virtually, and also the members of the Seminole Nation who perhaps will watch this at a later time, please use your mics when all possible. It helps to be able to pick your voice up in the system. Thank you.
Unmuted.
Can you hear me?
Hearing.
Like I really need this, but anyway, I know y'all have to be at the Creek Nation by 2 o'clock this afternoon, all right? So I'm not gonna try to delay off from going, all right? And, Velma, I believe you're the chairman of the committee, Princess Committee? Okay, everything that I'm gonna say, I'm not accusing you of putting you on a hot spot or anything. I only have a few questions that I need answered, not only to me, but for the people of the nation, okay? Which is Seminole Nation, all right? Keep that in mind, okay? I'm not trying to accuse you of anything. But being a chairman, I have found out a lot of things that are going on in Princess Committee in the past years that we were not made aware of pertaining to the council representatives that we have today, okay? Such things, I'll bring it up, okay? And after I get through with all that, then you can go ahead and answer, all right? Every time that we have a council meeting, whether it be a general council meeting pertaining to quarterly and 4 times a year, your Princess, they come up here and all that. They look very nice. They're standing out and all that, all for the people of our tribe, Seminole Nation, which of y'all are doing fine. There's only one here, okay? However, I found out that in the past years, it appears as there have been a lot of problems that has not been surfaced, not brought up to us, okay? Such as of right now, I have been told that there's 4 shawls missing, all right? Also, there's 3 crowns that y'all supposed to have. Only one is not broken or anything. There's one that's broken. The third one, which is the crown for the senior miss, is missing. All right? And not only that, there's been time where there's a lot of money that was allotted to y'all by benefits over about 13,000, give or take. It's missing. There was one of your ladies that's supposed to be that received $1,000 for scholarship going to college. I ever found out through a report that was sent back, she never went to school. She has a 0 GPA, which is a grade point average, okay? However, she supposedly was contacted. She has never paid back. Also, benefit money and all that was raised. There's a lot of them missing and all that. And also, everything that I mentioned pertaining to shawls and the crown and all that, it has went around within your committee, the girls and their parents, okay? Mainly the mother. Everybody's blaming the other person for taking the shawl, taking the money, taking the crown. All of them have denied it. Every one of them, okay, from one hand to another hand. And not only that, even when you're a princess for 1 year, representing the nation, at the end of your reign, okay, that's when your 1 year's up, getting ready to step down. Normally when they are replaced by new ones for the following year, the older girls that are getting down or, the reigns up, they normally are given a Pendleton blanket, a plaque with their picture on it, or a trophy. One girl that was stepping down, she was only given a blue Gatorade and the back of it's that salted thing, the little bag. There you go, sunflower seed. You're not the one that gave it to her, did you? I mean, you knew exactly what it was, okay? That was a tricky question, but no, it was sunflower seed. That's all she received, okay? And that's very untasteful, okay? That's wrong, okay? It shouldn't be like that. But anyway, all this is going on, and y'all have never made us aware. And my question is this, okay? Have y'all notified anyone pertaining to the nation, pertaining to the executive staff, or the light horse, or anybody to check into what's been happening? See, at any
Chair,
time when I
Chair
was-
Chair wants to advise that names not be
That's what I
mentioned.
was just getting ready to say.
Okay,
that,
Chair
okay?
wants-
I never used names when I was talking to you, okay? So it's better not to bring up names because I believe there's quite a few names that should be brought up, but we try to eliminate that and just answer the questions that I brought up about Shaw. I know one thing, they didn't walk off or fly out of here, you know?
But anyway, yes, those shawls were never given to the girls. The letters to notify the executive office has been sent or written or emailed to the chief. So we're not aware of what's going to happen. And the other one was fundraising money. That person never turned it over to the Treasury so that it could be deposited in our Seminole Nation Activity Fund. And so that notification was also sent. And then the next one was, yes, about the gifts. That was embarrassing to a couple of us that has been still on the committee. We know better to do things like that. That was embarrassing to us when it was told that these girls received those kind of gifts. And usually we give, donated items, or we go out and buy ourselves. We help each other to buy gifts for these girls that come to the pageant, the visiting royalties. Well, of course, we didn't put the items in the sack, so we weren't aware. But later we did find out what was given as they told one of us about what they got. And so that happened then. So, I believe during our meetings we talked about that, and we said we should never do things like that. So it hasn't been since maybe 4 or 5 years ago. And then, what else?
I think, Chairman, Coach, Sue, we received, just as the council did, letters from the committee yesterday, which is Friday. Executive will thoroughly read through those letters and then come up with a plan of action of what needs to be done with those particular issues. I've read through most of it, but not all of it at this point, being that it was yesterday that we received it as well. So what we will do is we'll finish reading that, and then we'll see what the plan of action should be to make things and recoup whatever needs to be done within that particular letter. So I'll assure you we'll look into it, Council, once that we read thoroughly through those notes as well. So is there any other things?
Yes, I believe one of the letters you received from your office was dated May 6th, which was last month. Today's June 4th, okay? However, number one, you haven't answered about the crowns yet, but it appears to me as a council rep that there has been a lot of what you call secretive things happening within your program, okay? Pertaining to what you just got through talking about, saying, letting all the people know, everything that seems to be happening is not being forwarded to us, so we're aware of what's going on with our people, all right? Have you ever thought about, as a chairman, that since all this activity has been going on in the past years, okay, do you think that we should discontinue the program?
Well, if we don't get any more contestants that wants to represent our tribe, I mean, it's not hard, but nobody is coming forth to apply.
Then we can't force the people, and we can't have a
No,
program that
no,
does
we
not
can't.
have the people
But-
coming in to compete, okay?
But we keep hoping that we'll have more each year that comes about. And also about scholarship, we have a bylaw. We haven't given it to you all yet. There was one that was given a year back or so. And we're revising, and we're making it a little, not lenient, but a little sterner about things that the girls are supposed to do. The scholarship for the senior or whomever is Miss Seminole and is in school, college, vocational, you know, there is a grade point that these students or these princesses have to meet, 2.5. We asked for a letterhead showing that they were enrolled. We request their grades and attendance. It's slowly happening, but the past one didn't make this 2.5. So a letter was sent, so forth and so forth. And as of today, you know, there's a small amount she can pay back because, you know, that's money out of the budget. And if one is sincere about going to college and getting this money to help them along the way, you know, we've had girls in the past that were princesses, and they succeeded. Some were even junior miss. They succeeded and, you know, got a career, working now. That's the majority of girls.
Okay, like the $1,000 that was missing and all that, have that been reimbursed to y'all yet?
No, not yet.
So you haven't heard nothing back from the person or persons that are involved in taking that money?
Well, we did get a response and, you know, asked again, you know, that this person didn't make these commitments that, you know, one should start paying, you know, at a low rate. And today we don't, and that was addressed to the chief and even to the parent to the, and the chief. So, you know, what else can we do? We can't force them to do anything, but, you know, we give them a time to try to help themselves to better themselves. You know, that's a start, paying something back. You know, you go to a bank or something, get money, you're expected to pay back. So we're trying to have our princess committee and the girls to be aware that, you know, the bylaw is in place and it does state that. And so I don't know what's going to happen today, but it's been forwarded.
Velma, all I can say to close this subject here, you know, every year something occurs and happens, it should have been brought forth so we can take action, immediate action, they call it. But instead of waiting 3, 4, 5 years down the road and it all compiles and comes as one, it's very hard because some of the people are no longer here, out of state, whatever, and it'd be hard to, you know, follow a trail, okay?
I don't know how the other princesses throughout the tribe of our 5 civilized tribe, I don't know what they do about things like that. I don't know if they have stipends for girls. But this is our first to make it official that, you know, if you don't make your grades, you've got to, and don't attend, you know, can't give you any money. Somebody else could use it the next semester or two that is willing to do their work. But this is our first. And I guess we should have let you guys know. I don't know what you all could do either, but, you know, in the past, there's been some wrongdoings within our nation. And I don't know if all those have been brought to pass. I only know one person that, you know, did wrong and made himself right, let's say. But anyway, that is what's going on. And our crown, one was broken, I believe. It was through the fire or, you know, fire, maybe the crown box. And the other one, the senior miss crown is missing. And I guess somebody still wants to carry that role, but, you know, it's gone. We've asked, and I can't recollect in my mind. I don't have it. So it's still in question. Maybe one day somebody will bring forth or take it to a complex. But we cannot find that one crown. So I guess that was negligence, but still yet when they are broken, or if the box is broken, the crown box, usually they bring it to the committee and show what was wrong.
Sure.
And that other girl, let's see what, it was, something was missing, crown. And I believe it was bent. It wasn't sitting up straight. It was probably bent.
I believe enough
But
time
we
has
talked-
been allotted to this, Ms. Sewell. Executive now has the letters from the committee. We'll take a look at it. We'll probably do some recommendations about substantial policies whenever the crowns are being exchanged at any given end of a term of a princess. That way, there's a process that takes place so that everybody knows, where those things are when there is a transition. I will say this, that the princesses over the years, for the most part, all the princesses have represented this nation very well, and we have acknowledged that from this tribal council. Now, if there are some these issues that are being discussed this morning, we'll look into how we can resolve it, how we can seek to find what is missing and bring it back to the nation where it belongs. Representative Hill still has the floor. He's standing. You yield the floor. Representative Watkins, you have the floor.
According to your report, you assisted in handing out food and water and also did clean up during the tornado damage. And I just wanted to say thank y'all for your help. It was well appreciated.
Executive may assign a delegate from our office, that will go alongside. They won't be involved in voting at committee level, but they'll be there to assist you from executive. So we may assign a delegate in that form, and it will be only to assist and help, to executive, so that we can not micromanage, but be able to help and assist what we can. Okay, so don't be surprised if I bring forth a delegate. Representative Fulbright.
Yes, ladies. Do you know yet where you're going to hold the pageant?
I believe, as far as we know, we're going back to Kanawha.
Is there not a reason why we couldn't hold it here, maybe at the mission? That be considered?
We haven't thought about it, but
I
we
would like,
talked about,
yeah, that would be nice.
well, if we was to have it here, we might have to have it outdoors. It's possible. Thought about it.
Could you talk into the mic? Sorry.
At the last meeting that we had, the committee and the parents, we had discussed having it at the Mission Gym, and we did send in a letter asking if we could, and it was approved. So we just need to get together and vote on it and get our advertising for it on the place that we want to have it. But we would like to have it here. And as for the kickoff of the days, so that's what we're working on now.
Thank you.
Representative McCoy.
What type of advertising are you do? Since you're saying there's been a low turnout of people or ladies applying, what type of means are we trying to advertise and encourage?
And again, that's what we're going to discuss at our next meeting. But I also work with another organization on the Princess Committee, and I would like to do social media, get with our communications department, have past princesses do like an informal question and answer so that they can let the girls know why they ran, what they did, just to try to give them a look at what actually goes on. And then I know there are several other Facebook that we can apply on. So, and then hang flyers wherever we can, just to get the word out.
Okay, well, I think we're probably up to the time that's associated with each committee. We thank the committee for being here today. We thank Junior Miss White-Keller for being here today. Miss White-Keller, did you want to say anything to the tribal council? No, not at this time.
Me?
Miss White-Keller? She said no. Yeah, yeah. She,
You know, we've
All right.
already started our apprentice applications, because if you're gonna be online, you can download it and by word of mouth, and there's some applications at 3 places. Was it at the casinos? Or the stores? Anyway, they're already getting out there, so they can download the application and turn it into Kelsey. And then we'll get up the deadline in July. So we'll try our best. All we can do is by word of mouth, or you guys can help your granddaughters or somebody.
yeah, if tribal
That's
council
a
wants to
relationship
lend
to that.
lend some assistance to bring out more people for those particular positions of the apprentices, just work within your band. You all have young people in your band. You know, the families, the extended families, tell them, you know, encourage them to place an application in for the princesses. So, okay.
Okay, Mado, for listening to us. Tell them to use all this, Mado.
Good. I saw Representative Watkins hands first, and on seniors, Representative McCoy. Representative Watkins.
Chair, can I ask for law enforcement?
They're not a committee, but, and
Just
they're
need
not
a-
represented here today.
I just need to make a comment.
There's a missing person search going on over in
Well,
South
maybe.
Seminole County. Yeah.
No, I would just like to let the Seminole tribal members and the council know what stood out on the report. I think it should be recognized. Can I repeat?
Ms. Watkins, would you please stand while you
Oh, I'm
have the
sorry.
floor?
My apology. I think what stood out in the report should be recognized, especially the Captain Jeremiah Telemassey and Lieutenant Alicia Telemassey. They conducted a water rescue during the tornadic storms, and I felt like that the Ocheesee Band wanted to express our gratitude for their act of bravery and a job well done. They went out on a rescue. A local resident tried to drive through flooded waters and quickly became submerged into the raging waters. Both officers quickly responded to the area and swam out to the rescue of the distressed individual. So we wanted to express our gratitude to the individual.
Perhaps we can do some type of accommodation in the future. Thank you for reminding us of that. Representative McCoy.
JOM.
JOM. Know that JOM has a representative on a committee. They have their parent committee within the school districts.
Okay. Well, I guess I had it for our JOM director. If they're not present, can I just speak this, and you can record it in the minutes and get with the JM director to.
It's not germane to what's on
No?
the agenda.
All right, we'll go to the next one. How about judgment fund?
Judgment fund. Representative, you're talking about trust fund management?
I got a judgment fund quarterly report from Madonna. And I mean, I would like to know if when she met with the trust fund board last.
We have members of the trust fund management board that's online with us. Representative Narkamy?
Yes.
You can address your question to Representative Narkamy. He's on trust fund management.
Sure, no problem. This actually kind of relates to the upcoming resolution to increase the clothing fund. I can either ask it now or at the time of the resolution coming up. I just want to know where that $2 million figure came from to divide $200 clothing allowance to increase it to $200 for the next, 2 or 3 years? What was that calculated off of? Was it calculated off of currently what we give our children for $100 clothing? How many times it by 3 years? I mean, just the calculation to support that $2 million figure. And if the trust fund board was consulted on this.
Well, being that they're not trust funds, no, they weren't consulted on this. They are ARPA funds, and how it was configured is the amount of eligible kids, not the amount of kids that actually participate on an annual basis, but the amount of eligible children that's within the ages of secondary school. So that's how that was figured. So that, and indeed, if we have more applicants than we normally have, there would be enough to be able to cushion and to take that in. Obviously, if it's not used, it's going to go back into those funds where the resource is.
Okay. Can I move on to another committee or allow someone else to talk?
You can go ahead.
Okay,
You have the floor.
sure. So let's go with SNGE.
Unless Representative Etheridge had something germane to trust. Okay. SNGE, do we have a representative from SNGE? And virtual cyberspace? Miss Miller? She's muted. Miss Miller, can you hear Chair speaking? IT, is she connected? I show some bars and then an X on my monitor. Is she actually connected? Oh, she has a bad signal. Yeah, they're asking for SNGE though. That's a SINDOC. Mr. Getz is on. Looks like the signal is weak with SNGA member Miller.
Would you like me just to ask the questions and the secretary could follow up with her for answers?
Well, what I would do, I would put that in writing and, send it to executive and we'll forward it on to that particular board member.
Okay, how about communications then?
Communications doesn't have a committee,
May I ask a question of the communications director?
where it's not germane to what we're on. We're on
Okay,
reports of
let's
committees.
keep on going then. Let me just make a general statement since I'm not allowed to talk to anybody right now. In the communication report that was submitted, I just want to request for the next quarterly meeting, because it should include the months of April, May, and June. I noticed that on the communication director report, it said that you documented the historic trip with Chief, the Seminole Nation Honor Guard, the Historic Preservation Department to go to Jupiter, Florida to speak at Seminole Wars Convocation and the Big Cypress Brighton Reservation. I would request that those individuals that attended that meeting, I would like to see some report, also with a budget showing that we were able to cover that in the existing budgets for this department. And the reason I say that is because I wasn't aware of this trip. It would have been nice to have just been told you guys were going, which I think it's great that you did. But I have to find out from the Seminole Tribal paper down in Florida that you guys went, and here's your picture that tells all about the trip. So I'm hoping that you would just give us the common courtesy to maybe do a presentation, whether you all combine it or you put it in your individual reports. Like maybe the executive would like to give a blurb about it, communications, the honor guard was there, and I believe Representative Desiree Emerson was able to travel. I don't know if she went on the general council budget or on her own free will, but it would be nice to have something brought back to us instead of having to see it on Facebook or read it in another tribe's newspaper of the travel. So I know this didn't fall in this quarterly reporting cycle, so I'm asking for the next one that we might have some kind of presentation.
That's
brought
noted.
forth.
And just to clear that Representative Emerson and her family was there on their own ticket. So they were just happened to be there. I was surprised to see them myself, but I'm glad they made the trip. It was a good convocation and great meetings with the leadership of the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Ms. Miller, are you now on with us? Representative Dethridge, you have the floor.
I'd like to hear from SINDOC representative.
SINDOC, Mr. Getz, I see that you're online with us.
Good morning, this is Steve.
Yes. Representative Dethridge has the floor.
Got a question about during the tornado, was the aquaponics building damaged, destroyed? And if so, is there going to be an insurance claim on that? And I've got one more question after he answers that one.
Chief, could you repeat the question? I could barely hear it.
Okay, what Representative Dethridge is asking, during the storms that came through Seminole a few weeks back, the aquaponics operation was affected by that, and he asked if there was insurance that was to be able to cover the damages.
Yes, the roof caved in, and we have filed a claim. We just recently heard from Dr. Smallwood. He is going to give us a estimate to repair, and that estimate will then be forwarded to the insurance provider for a claim.
Did you have another question, Representative
Yes,
Dethridge?
sir. I want to find out, and this is a concern of the BCR Commission as well, but retail sales at I-40, can Mr. Getz expound on the reason that the Webull Trading Post or the little facility down at Conemaugh generates more revenue than our facility at I-40?
The question was, Mr. Guest, is this, the retail stores at Wewoka and the retail store at River Mist appears to be bringing in more revenue or profits than the store at I-40. Representative Dethridge was wondering if you have an answer to why that is so.
Yes, that is correct. That store at the I-40 location has always been the least, the smallest producer of revenue. And the most obvious answer is the fact that the I-40 store has, I think, 3 other direct competitors very close by, where the store Trading Post at Wewoka has very little competition, and the store at River Mist has really no competition nearby. There are other problems with Travel Plaza. Just the entrance into the pumps is much more difficult than going into the Sinclair or the Love's across the street. The fact that Sinclair has probably an 80-foot tall sign right in the middle of our parking lot does not help us a bit. But, we're trying to work on those solutions. But again, the direct competition at the I-40 store versus the lack of competition at the other two stores.
Okay, thank you for your response, Mr. Getz. Representative Coleman?
Thank you, Chair. This is also addressed to Mr. Getz, please. Mr. Getz, with regards to the aquaponics, I know that y'all are discussing this as to the best course of action to take on this matter. Is there a possibility that one of the considerations may be to relocate it back to the Miccosukee Mission grounds?
Yes, that is our recommendation. We have had problems ever since it was built with the water at the city water at Seminole. And I think on behalf of my board, I think our recommendation to the nation is to move it back there.
Okay, thank you. Second question is the Seminole Nation Services, LLC. I noticed that the revenues have dropped considerably since January 2021 to March of 2022. Could you explain as to what happened and what you all are doing to correct this action?
Back in January of 2021, we were right in the middle of the pandemic, and we were getting most of the revenue was from spraying the disinfectant, and that has totally dropped off. We don't have a single spraying customer any longer. We are trying to move into other areas. We're trying to beef up our janitorial supplies business, and we are also trying to beef up the tanker bar business to compensate.
Okay, thank you. And third and last question is the Bison Project. I noticed that there is talks with BIA to discuss the preparation of the land, and I know y'all have fencing that y'all are considering too. How long is it going to take us to prepare the land for the project, and when do we anticipate that the fence will be installed?
The fence has got to be installed by the 31st of July, but again, that won't be the total fence. We've only got $13,000. So we're going to fence in as much as we can. In the meantime, the BIA will come in probably late fall or this winter to do the burn, and then they'll come back and do the mechanical treatment after that. And then we'll take a look at it next spring. If natural grasses, prairie grasses have regrown in, then we can finish fencing it and prepare for bison. The BIA will make that decision whether we can do that or whether or not we'll have to have an additional burn.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Getz.
You're welcome.
Representative Watkins, I see your hand. You have the floor.
Is the Housing Authority?
Housing Authority, Ms. Stone, I see that she's online with us. Ms. Stone?
Yes, good morning.
Okay, Representative Watkins has the floor.
First, Ms. Stone, thank you for your staff and helping with the tornadoes. I noticed that you and your staff helped hand out food, water, whatever you needed to do for our people and the community. My question is the Indian Community Development Block Grant. You reported that you're going to be sending out bids for 10 homeowners on this project, assisting with roofs, windows, doors, heating, air conditioning. When is that project going to be started? And also, are you coordinating with Mr. John's HIP program? Because are they going to be doing about the same thing? And also, another question too, your U.S. Treasury Homeowners Assistance Fund, that is going to be entailed for homeowners, utilities, mortgage reinstatement assistance, payment assistance, delinquent taxes. I noticed that your schedule, the board approved it in April. What is the status of that?
Representative Watkins, what was that last question about the homeowner assistance fund? That something about April? You're cutting out on me.
Okay, you know, you had stated that that plan was scheduled for board approval in April. So I just wanted to know what the status of that.
Okay, we did end up receiving the approval of our plan by Treasury, and the policy was updated to match that. So that program is moving forward, but we, initially with just our planning money, we started a pilot project and had an online survey to identify the needs that we put in that plan, and actually started serving before we got the distribution of the funds with just our planning money. So we already have a number of applicants that have been sent documentation to update their income, and we are working on those projects now, continuing to work on those because we had already started many of those before we received approval of our overall plan. On the ICDBG, the 10 homes for rehab, what we do is we have a number of rehab requests all the time. And in our IHBG funding, our annual funding for housing, we put rehab in there because it's a major need for our people. And then we've done the same with the ICDBG, which was imminent needs, as you mentioned, for roofs, windows, things that would be related to possibly breathing issues or that could prevent COVID. And we have started those. What we do is we have one list that has all of the rehab applications, and with the different funding streams we have, we see which one of those programs would best fit with them so that we can accomplish all of our goals. So homes are already being repaired on both the Homeowner Assistance Fund program, the ICDBG program, and our regular IHBG program.
Representative Coleman.
I have a question, Ms. Stone. Do you all have any housing available for the families that have been, have experienced damages to tornadoes, they're not able to live in their homes, or even the homeless people that we see wherein the numbers are increasing in our community of those of our tribal members that do not have homes? And I was just wondering, have you all designated a particular area for temporary housing for people of this nature, or have had experience of tragedy, or maybe they lost their job and no longer have a source of income, and they are homeless? Are there grants available for homeless people that you all may be able to apply for?
There have been some grants announced recently about homelessness. Historically, housing has been just low-income housing. It hasn't been, it's sort of a different area to provide homelessness assistance. And so that's not an area that we have historically worked in that I don't know, because we haven't had those additional funds for a facility or for staff that do supportive type services like that. But we do look into funding that is put out, and if it's something that we feel we have the capacity to do, we absolutely will apply for those. On the other question about emergency housing, we do have 2 of our stock units in Wewoka that we've had several tribal members use whenever they've had fires or tornadoes, things beyond their control. Again, we don't use those emergency units to address homelessness because we just don't have enough, units available for that. But right now, those are the only two units we have. So I know the executive office has mentioned the possibility of maybe ARPA funds to put some emergency units in some of the other communities, Sasakwa, Kanawha, Seminole, that would be more useful to our people, because if they have families and children attending school in those different areas, it's not always the best option for them to come and stay in one of our units. But as I mentioned, we have 2 designated, one that's larger, 4-bedroom, that's for, a larger family, and then we have a 1-bedroom, and those stay occupied quite a bit.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you, Ms. Stone.
Representative Fulbright? And I heard a voice, was it in virtual? Was that you, Representative Narcomi? Somebody said chair. Was it you, Representative Fulbright? Okay, well, I heard it somewhere. Okay, Representative Fulbright, you have the floor.
This is for Becky. I was asked by my band to see if there's any additional funding you can apply for or available to assist tribal members like you did before with their rent utilities, like that 3-month span. Things are so bad right now. I mean, COVID was bad, but now we have so many, the price of everything is just ridiculous. People are struggling. Is there any program available or grants available that you can apply for that, stuff like that?
We, just this week, there was a conference call through Treasury that they may have additional funding available for the emergency rental assistance program that we had managed.
Right.
And so those are funds that are recaptured from other tribes or states that did not spend all their money in a timely manner. We exhausted all of our money. And ours, and it's not just ours, it wasn't our policy, but Treasury's policy that we could just assist up to 15 months. Many of our tribal members receive that assistance for 15 months. And so if the Treasury's policy has not changed on the amount of assistance we can provide, we wouldn't be able to provide that ongoing to those same people. Although if we can get some of that, and I'm checking into if we can recapture some of the other tribes' monies, then we could provide that assistance, but it may be, to other people who didn't receive that assistance initially.
Okay. So you will keep us updated on that,
Absolutely.
Yeah, that would be great. Because I know there was some that applied that I guess there wasn't enough money and they were left out. So, and I don't know if we could use any of our ARPA money to move over to that for a particular program like that. Just question.
Sure, we're willing to work with the tribe however we can help, provide those continued services.
Representative McCoy?
Treasurer?
Treasurer. Is that all the questions for housing at this time from the council? Okay. Thank you, Ms. Stone.
You're welcome. Thank you.
The treasurer's not a committee, but because he's an officer of the tribe, we'll let him.
And his report's on here?
Yeah.
Treasurer's report?
It's a report. It's a verbal, it's a written report, but he's not a committee.
This is an important position. Sir, good day to you. I just had a few little quick questions. Can you just tell me the current status of the general fund and how is indirect cost collections going for you?
Okay, on the general fund, yeah, it's on a daily basis, we have, revenue coming in from, the enforcement that, the guy said from CNDOT, things of this nature. But, we really haven't gotten a plan as far as how to keep track of what's coming in now. And so that's one of the projects we have, but, I'll have all that available for you at the next meeting.
Okay, that sounds great. Also, how's our cash flow? Are we current on paying vendors timely, or are we a little behind?
Well, right now we are. When we first
You're current or behind?
We're current.
Okay.
When we first came in, if you asked me that question, I would have to say, well, I really couldn't answer that question. But now we are in a position where we can pay our vendors. Now, the only problem that we're having right now is it's with CNDOT. They're saying that we owe the tribe owes them somewhere in the neighborhood of $60,000. And that's dealing with age receivables on their standpoint. And we're working on that. And the thing that I've found out is that there was a communication problem in the prior period, that they were submitting invoices to the appropriate office. And so now we're trying to streamline that where we can get these done on a timely basis. And that's one of the biggest problems we're having right now.
Okay.
And I might want to interject on that since it's germane to your question.
Sure.
We did have meetings about that, and it has now been corrected. So there won't be any more of those. They're going to be submitting invoices in a timely manner and to the proper place. So that's going to be remedied.
And just for clarification, I know it's probably been about 2 months ago, but we had requested just some updated figures, and I know the Finance Committee was having trouble getting a report from you so that they could use it with their finance meeting. Are you being able to provide them with proper documentation so they can, as they review these budgets, also have your input?
Well, yes, as far as that goes. Now, there's some programmatic figures that I'm not involved with, so that would be on the controller. The controller, I should say the physical services would be involved with that, as far as getting all the numbers together.
Okay.
And once I can get that, I can tell you, answer your questions.
Okay. All right. That's all the questions I had for you.
Yes.
Representative Watkins.
Morning, Mr. Larney. I was reviewing all your schedules on the ARPA funding,
Yes.
and to be honest with you, I kind of got lost in all the schedules. I would like for it to be a summary of the beginning of the ARPA funding and then the ending balance somewhere to show where we're at
Okay. When you say opera,
of the 88 million, and then the ending balance of all the approved resolutions from the 88 million to where we're at, showing
if
where is that at?
it's on this schedule.
I went from Schedule A, Schedule B, to Schedule D, to,
It has a beginning of 38 million,
okay,
okay?
from,
Now, that was as at the beginning of October. At the end of the first quarter, there's a distribution of 25 million point four. And that left the balance at the end of the year of 12.5, yes,
okay, I understand, you're taking each resolution
Right.
here. But what I'm asking for each resolution, starting up from the 88 million that we were allocated,
oh, you're talking about,
grand total. And
okay.
then taking each resolution as they come through that we're approved, what is the ending balance summarized?
Okay, I can do that. Now, currently I have,
Because when I looked at all the resolutions that we approved, where is the 86,400 of resolution number 11?
now that I do not have. What does Resolution 11 cover?
That was the consultant that we approved.
Now that I do not have. I can get that for you though.
Because then that should be somewhere in this report.
Okay, what I will do is I will locate all the resolutions pertaining to the ARPA funding and give you a breakdown.
That would be great. And then, when I was looking through these ARPA funding, I looked in social service, and we began and approved the ARPA, what was the total, what was the name on that? ARPA ETA, Emergency Tribal Assistance. And in the first quarter, there was an expenditure of $10.
Okay, that was a fee that the bank had charged us.
Okay, that was my question, is how we just had $10 there. But then in the second quarter of 3 months, we're 7 months into this emergency utilities, and we've only expended $62,429 for emergency utilities. And our needs out there for utilities seems very low for $62,000. And so I don't know if the question, it's not yours, question would be social service. And so,
Now these figures are coming off the statements that actually been distributed as far as payments are concerned. So those questions would have to be answered to the director.
okay, so I guess then our question would be addressed by letter or email or written to social service, is why is the utility so low in 7 months?
Yes, that would be the proper version.
Okay.
Well, just to kind of elaborate on that, those figures surprise the executive office as well. We just advised more tribal members to be able to submit applications in those particular areas. I know it's on the website, it's on social media, the different ARPA programs. So we would advise tribal members to participate in Emergency Tribal Assistance, ARPA. What we may ask the council in the near future to do is people who had a resource for energy during the wintertime of wood have to get a W-9 from each and every little wood vendor that there might be. Now, if the tribe actually purchased, a resource of wood and stocked it at a location and then distributed it according to those cores or those types, the amount of wood that's needed for that particular household for an extended time up to the amount that's allowed, that would probably work better. That way we can document it instead of, I think some people don't want to mess with going to a private wood provider and asking them for a W-9, plus the private wood providers don't like that either, but it's a requirement on our part to get that. So I think that if the council would allow, executive to purchase wood with a portion of it, and then be able to do it that way would be a lot easier on our tribal members that use wood as a resource.
Chair, would you look into social service and look at the application, I think our band, tribal members are saying they're asking a lot of information of all of the family members, and they're not making it easy for our tribal members to apply. They're going with the old, the application with the other.
It's not exactly, it's not a mirror to the old application. There are some elements from the old application that's incorporated. We can take a look at how we can simplify it if that's what you're asking.
Yes, please, because $62,000 for 7 months of service, there's something wrong. Please, look into it, please.
Well, I don't know that there's something wrong,
Well-
but definitely we need more tribal members presenting, and if it needs to simplify the application, we can
Yes,
take a look at
yes.
that.
Look into it
Yeah.
for us. Thank you.
Representative Pittman, I have a note, I didn't see you there, but you're asking for the floor.
Is we have had finance committee chairman resign. So can you please email all finance committee members of those documents that were mentioned earlier when they said they sent everything to us? We have not had an opportunity to meet with all of the financial requests and documents in our hands. That would be helpful.
Well, what we'll do is we'll encourage the present chairman to continue to communicate with the finance committee. And if the emails are not going through for some reason, are you receiving emails, Representative Pittman?
Yes, I just haven't received the latest documentations on the financial requests that we had prior to our former chair resigning.
Okay. I'll get with, we have a representative on that board here, and I'll also touch base with the acting chair and make sure that everybody's receiving. I would suggest that she just put a receipt on her email, and then that kind of verifies to her that everybody's receiving the emails in a proper manner. Thank you for your comments, Representative Pittman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Is that all for the treasurer? If that's all for the treasurer, thank you, Mr. Larney. You moved out of the way, didn't you, Mr. Larney? Yeah. No passing lane available, huh? It's good to have humor occasionally. Representative McCoy?
Do we have a good connection yet with SNGE?
Ms. Miller, are you online with us? I don't see her. I don't see that she has a connection.
Would she be the only one? There's a second person on that committee with her, correct? Are they online?
I don't see their name on here either. We have one vacancy on that board we're going to try to address today. No, I don't see it. If you
Just send an
desire
email?
to send an email to us and I'll forward it to her, or that would be good.
Well, can I say something just to my fellow council representatives on this SNGE? I'll save my questions, but I just wanted to share this because this is something we need to think about, even though we may not all be on the same page usually, and we have our own differences. But I don't know how many actually go out to the different, not just our casinos, but maybe just in general to the tribes here in Oklahoma. But this weekend we had an opportunity to travel up north and we stopped by the hub. I don't know, you can look that up. I'm not going to spend all my time talking about it. But the interesting thing I saw about that, it's off of I-35, kind of like ours is right off the interstate. And what they've done is they have a hotel. They have what they call the Hub Event Center. So it's kind of family friendly. It has 2 movie screen theaters in there. It has a little arcade for the kids, even gaming computers, because, kids game, do all that gaming video game stuff. They even had a bowling alley in there, and then it went into the casino part for the adults. And it was just kind of like all connected. It was clean. They had like a concession stand. It looked simple to me just by walking in. It wasn't this grand, huge thing, but it had so many different compartments for everyone to just stop and enjoy something. And that's kind of one of the things I just wanted to share with the Gaming Enterprise Board, or I didn't know if that was part of SINDOC. So I'm just sharing it with you, and maybe you can talk about it. Maybe you are interested in just looking it up. It's called the Hub. I believe the Tonkawa tribe owns that. But it was just very family-friendly, clean. It's right off the interstate, and that parking lot was packed. And I thought, well, why can't Seminole Nation do something like that? Take little steps to maybe expand just off of the normal, because when I was looking at this report, it says we have staff shortages and, we had to be closed on all the Tuesdays in January. I don't know if it was weather related or what the deal is, but that would also open up more job opportunities, not just for the casino, but different events that actually would create revenue back to the tribe. So just wanted to share that with my fellow council reps.
Just to comment on that, those things are being looked at. Some of them are just in the foundation stages. So appreciate the comments, Representative McCoy. Representative Dethridge, that's in your hand. You have the floor.
Yes, sir. On these reports, I know they're somewhat a look into the past. They're 2.5 months behind real time as far as I can tell. And I know that we've got a bunch of new council representatives. So can you just inform us just real quickly, are we in FY 2022, the second quarter, or in the third quarter? Because some of these reports I'm in the first quarter, I'm in the third quarter. I don't know what quarter this game is even at. So help us out on that if you don't mind.
The quarters, as we have our quarterly meetings, obviously we have September through December. We have, of course, January through March, and then March through June, and then starts over again. So it is usually behind as far as the reports. It's not totally up to date to June. It's from the last quarter. The quarterly reports can only be done according to a full quarter being completed. A full quarter is not completed until the first of this month. So that would be the quarterly reports that are.
We're in the June meeting right today, okay? And the reports should have been for January, February, and March. Is that correct?
Should have been, yes.
Yeah, and so that's the end of January, the end of
To my
February,
understanding right
and the
now at
end
this
of
moment,
March.
yes.
And March was like 2 months ago. So these people are putting these reports out that are late. They could have made this report and kept it in their pocket sometime in April the 3rd or 4th. They could have written a report for what happened in January, February, and March, and they're still late. So I don't know, and again, they've got the wrong, it just kind of malfunctioned. So the next time you have a manager's meeting, if you don't mind, let them all know, hey, reports are due, and y'all should, don't burden our council secretary with having to resend a bunch of stuff, and I made a correction, and they done this. If they look at them, it's just not right. I'm just saying that whoever puts these reports together, I mean, each individual, whether it's the manager, the director, or whomever, I emailed Miss Miller as well. And I asked her some questions. You know, she answered my questions, but, you know, she's the one that put this report together for SNGE. I thought that should have been the general manager's responsibility. I don't know. You know, and half of them don't have a phone number where you can call and make contact with them. You know, so somebody needs to help us out on this deal because it's not working well for me.
Okay. Comments noted. Representative Dethridge. Representative McCoy.
Do we have a Seminole Nation Days committee?
A committee, we do have a staff that's starting to have meetings on Nation Days, and we are planning to have Nation Days this year.
Okay.
Some of the core activities of Nation Days are repetitive. Some of the things that we hope to do with some of the amenities that should be up, at least we're projected for them to be up. We want to give, a greater experience to our tribal members. So there is planning being done at this time.
So could our secretary send it out, like who the committee members are? So if we had comments or want to contribute maybe some information or requests that we could submit that to them?
I think far as a committee, we haven't had a real active committee and probably since COVID started back in March of 20. But we're going to have a special call meeting this month. So we'll take a look at committee placements. Usually there's at least one council representative that oversees, the things that take place during Nation Days.
Okay.
So we'll bring that up. We do have to submit the audit. Most likely right now, it looks like on June 24th will be a special call meeting, which lands on a Thursday night. So we can bring that up at that time as well.
And then just a comment to piggyback off Representative Dethridge. I agree. Some of the reports that were submitted I'm having to have our secretary follow up because I want to see a report that is obviously way old. And also on some of these reports, can the budget be put in there? I want to know like where they are in their budget, how much they've expended, how much they have left. And I don't know if this goes, who it goes to, but I believe the general council budget needs to be looked at. I think our stipends, we only budgeted for quarterly ones, and I think we might be over budget on our stipend pay. So I would suggest that the finance committee look at that because, Chair, I don't know when you call meetings if you know how many we're budgeted for to be paid, but you've called a lot lately, and I really think we might be over budget right now in our current budget.
Yeah, one thing that we allowed in the tribal government stabilization is the ability to be able to take care of stipends. So we're going to be fine in that area, even if in the general fund, it's get to the point where it's close to being over. So we're going to be fine. We'll be fine in that area. Okay. Yes, we do take those things in consideration. Okay, are we ready to leave committees? Okay, I don't see anybody in virtual cyberspace and no one's raising their hand here, so we'll leave reports of committees and go under new business. And I know over the past we've been able to go straight through and finish up on our agendas. There is a little bit more on the agenda with a little bit of other business as well. So when the time comes when we're around the noon hour, then council can determine whether we're going to break for lunch. Okay. All right. New business. Tribal Ordinance 2022-04. Representative Fulbright.
Yes, I would like to introduce Tribal Resolution TO 2022-04, a tribal ordinance of the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma, amending the Employee Relations Code, Title 11, Chapter 7, titled Employee Benefits of the Seminole Nation Code of Laws. What this is doing is adding on the Juneteenth holiday. Since it's a federal holiday now, want to see if this is something that we wanted to add to the Seminole Nation. Did they take that last year as a holiday? Juneteenth?
Yes, under President Biden's administration, it's an official federal holiday.
Did the nation take it?
No.
We did not utilize
we
that
did not.
holiday? Okay. So this is something to add on.
Of course, I wasn't the chief at the time, to recognize that federal holiday, so June of
But the
of last
employees
year.
work.
It depends on what day it landed on.
Yeah, I guess. So I'd like to introduce that ordinance and ask for a second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to include this federal holiday in the holidays within the Title 11, which is the Employment Code. So we have a motion and a second. If there's no discussion on this, we'll go to, do we have one? Oh, okay. Secretary, call the roll.
Leetta Sampson,
Yes.
Anthony Conley,
Yes.
John Narcome,
Yes.
Rena Tiger,
Yes.
Anastasia Pittman,
Yes.
Terry Edwards,
Yes.
Nancy Fixico, Ida Gonzalez, Tamara Downey,
No.
Leon Petit,
No.
Joseph Billy,
Yes.
Delois Harjo, Delois Harjo, Karen Fulbright,
Yes.
Ann Borba. Yes. Stephanie Lambert,
Yes.
Cindy Yesla,
Yes.
Lottie Cootie, Ella Coleman,
Yes.
Shirley Watkins,
Yes.
Tiffany Thomas,
Yes.
Catherine McCoy, Charlie Hill, Tiffany Cully,
Yes.
Danita Harjo, Willis Dethridge,
No.
Desiree Emerton,
No.
I have a count of 20 yes, 4 no, 0 abstentions.
With a count of 20 yes and 4 no, 0 abstentions, I declare Tribal Ordinance 2022-04 to have passed. Since we moved Tribal Ordinance 2022-05 towards the end of new business to be aligned with the other resolutions that are germane to this tribal ordinance change, we have the finance acting chairman that is asked to withdraw. And you concur to that as the finance committee?
Yeah.
Tribal Resolution 2022-50, 51, 52, and 54.
Yes.
So those are considered withdrawn at this time. So that's Tribal Resolution 2022-50, 2022-51, 2022-52, and 2022-54. So that brings us up to 2022-53.
Resolution 2022-53, tribal resolution of the General Council of the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma, approving the transportation BIA CRRSAA budget for FY 2022 and incorporation into the FY 22 comprehensive budget.
Now, this is 53. This is TR 2022-53 for clarification. So is that a motion?
Motion to approve.
Is there a,
Ask for second.
is there a second? Second by Representative Fixico. And we do have the transportation director here. Are there any questions to this resolution? Ms. Dinwiddie, can you approach the council floor, please? Thank you, Representative Gonzalez. Representative Fulbright, you have the floor, and if you could, please stand while you. Okay, I'm going to ask that the council put the microphone up to their mouth when you speak, so that
I'm
we can.
sorry. I called for question.
Okay.
So, and
Okay.
I will do that next time.
Okay, thank you, Representative Fulbright. Okay, Secretary, call the roll. TR 2022-53.
No. No.
Anthony Conley,
No.
John Narcome. John Narcome. Rena Tiger.
Yes.
Rena Tiger.
Yeah.
Anastasia Pittman.
No.
Terry Edwards.
No.
Nancy Fixico. Ida Gonzalez. Tamara Downey.
Yes.
Leon Petit.
Yes.
Joseph Billy.
Yes.
Delois Harjo.
Yes.
Karen Fulbright.
Yes.
Ann Borba.
Yes.
Stephanie Lambert.
No.
Dina Yesla.
No.
Lottie Cootie. Ella Coleman.
Yes.
Shirley Watkins.
Yes.
Tiffany Thomas.
Yes.
Catherine McCoy.
Yes.
Charlie Hill. Yes. Tiffany Cully.
Yes.
Danita Harjo. Danita Harjo. Willis Dethridge.
Yes.
Desiree Emerson.
Yes.
I have a count of 19 yes, 6 no, 0 abstentions.
With a count of 19 yes, 6 no, and 0 abstentions, I declare TR 2022-53 to have passed. We move down to TR 2022-55. Representative Gonzalez.
TR 2022-55, a tribal resolution of the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma approving a modification to the FY 2022 tribal enrollment BIA ATG budget and the FY 2022 comprehensive budget. I make a motion to approve and ask for a second.
It's a motion to approve by Representative Gonzalez, seconded by Representative Fixico. We're in discussion. Representative McCoy.
Can I just get clarification on the budget part, the personnel, the salary increase? Is that really the correct 6% COLA increase? That calculation, is that correct, or is that higher?
We'll ask the director to come to the council floor. Of course, Finance Committee knows the answer to that, but we'll go ahead and have her come up, ask any questions pertaining to this budget. This is Director.
That is increase over the current rate.
So it's more than the 6% COLA that's listed in the resolution?
Yes.
Okay.
when I did the budget, everybody was already getting the 6%.
Uh-huh.
So then this is a step in, a grade raise.
Okay, so you're giving a
So
grade
from
raise?
11 to a 12. And,
Well, I guess I'm missing the other sheet. I guess, did you not provide like a justification sheet? That might have been a little helpful, clarifying that.
it was all there.
My sheet only just had numbers on it. I didn't have like a justification like some of the others provide where it's a little more detailed of what it includes. Is it there? Because I didn't have that. Okay, that's fine.
That's the justification there. You didn't get that sheet?
I only have this paper sheet that has numbers on it, so, well, that's okay. If you have it, then that's fine. I obviously overlooked it or didn't get it, so thank you for answering my question.
Any other questions for the enrollment director? If there's no other questions, this is TR 2022-55.
Call for question.
Secretary, call the roll.
Leah DeSanson,
No.
Anthony Conley,
No.
John Narcome,
No.
Rena Tiger,
No.
Anastasia Pittman,
No.
Terry Edwards,
No.
Nancy Fixico, Ida Gonzalez, Tamara Downey,
Yes.
Leon Petit,
Yes.
Joseph Billy,
Yes.
Dolores Harjo,
Yes.
Karen Fulbright,
Yes.
Ann Borba, Stephanie Lambert,
No.
Tina Yesla,
No.
Lottie Cootie, Ella Coleman,
Yes.
Shirley Watkins,
Yes.
Tiffany Thomas,
Yes.
Catherine McCoy, Charlie Hill, Tiffany Cully,
Yes.
Danita Harjo, Willis Dethridge,
Yes.
Desiree Emerton,
Yes.
I have a count of 15 yes, 10 no, 0 abstentions.
With a count of 15 yes, 10 no, and 0 abstentions, I declare TR 2022-55 to have passed. TR 2022-56, Representative Gonzalez.
Tribal resolution of the General Council of the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma approving the budget modification of the tribal court, EIA for fiscal year 2021, and amendment to the FY 2021 comprehensive budget. I make a motion to approve and ask for a second.
There's a motion to approve by Representative Gonzalez. Is there a second? Second by Representative Fixico. Are we're in discussion? I see no hands raised online, nor in-house here. So Secretary, this is for TR 2022-56.
Leah DeSamson,
Yes.
Anthony Conley,
Yes.
John Narcome,
Yes.
Rena Tiger,
Yes.
Anastasia Pittman,
Yes.
Terry Edwards,
Yes.
Nancy Fixico, Ida Gonzalez,
Yes.
Tamara Downey,
Yes.
Leon Petit,
Yes.
Joseph Billy,
Yes.
Dolores Harjo,
Yes.
Karen Fulbright,
Yes.
Ann Borba, Stephanie Lambert,
Yes.
Sina Yesla,
Yes.
Lottie Cootie, Ella Coleman,
Yes.
Shirley Watkins,
Yes.
Tiffany Thomas,
Yes.
Catherine McCoy, Charlie Hill, Tiffany Cully,
Yes.
Danita Harjo, Willis Dethridge,
Yes.
Desiree Emerson,
Yes.
I have a count of 23 yes, 2 no, 0 abstentions.
With a count of 23 yes, 2 no, and 0 abstentions, I declare TR 2022-56 to have passed. TR 2022-57, Representative Gonzalez.
Resolution of the General Council of the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma approving the Child CARES Act Fund for FY 2021 and incorporation into the FY 2021 comprehensive budget. I make a motion to approve and ask for a second.
There's a motion to approve. It was seconded by Representative Cootie. Any discussion? TR 2022-57. I see no hands up. Secretary, call the roll.
Leetta Sampson,
Yes.
Anthony Conley,
Yes.
John Narcome,
Yes.
Rena Tiger,
Yes.
Anastasia Pittman,
Yes.
Terry Edwards,
Yes.
Nancy Fixico, Ida Gonzalez, yes, Tamara Downey,
Yes.
Leon Petit,
Yes.
Joseph Billy,
Yes.
Delois Harjo,
Yes.
Karen Fulbright,
Yes.
Ann Borba, yes, Stephanie Lambert,
Yes.
Sina Yesla,
Yes.
Lottie Cootie, Ella Coleman,
Yes.
Shirley Watkins,
Yes.
Tiffany Thomas,
Yes.
Catherine McCoy, Charlie Hill, Tiffany Cully,
Yes.
Danita Harjo, Willis Dethridge,
Yes.
Desiree Emerson,
Yes.
I have a count of 22 yes, 2 no, 0 abstentions.
Okay, with a count of 22 yes, 2 noes, and 0 abstentions, I declare TR 2022-57 to have passed. TR 2022-58, Representative Gonzalez.
Tribal resolution of the General Council of the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma approving the Child Care CRRSA budget for the FY 2021 and incorporation into the FY 2021 comprehensive budget. I make a motion to approve and I ask for a second.
There's a motion approved by Representative Gonzalez. Representative Cootie, is that, it's over there. Okay, Representative Borba gave the second on that. Any discussion on TR 2022-58? Seeing none, Secretary, call the roll.
Leetta Sampson,
Yes.
Anthony Conley,
Yes.
John Narcome,
Yes.
Rena Tiger,
Yes.
Anastasia Pittman,
Yes.
Terry Edwards,
Yes.
Nancy Fixico, Ida Gonzalez,
Yes.
Tamara Downey,
Yes.
Leon Petit,
Yes.
Joseph Billy,
Yes.
Delois Harjo, Delois Harjo, Karen Fulbright,
Yes. Yes.
was that Delois?
Yes, Dolores Harjo, yes.
Okay. Okay, Karen Fulbright,
Sorry.
Ann Borba, Stephanie Lambert,
Yes.
Sina Yesla,
Yes.
Lottie Cootie, Ella Coleman,
Yes.
Shirley Watkins,
Yes.
Tiffany Thomas,
Yes.
Catherine McCoy, Charlie Hill, Tiffany Cully,
Yes.
Danita Harjo, Willis Dethridge,
Yes.
Desiree Emerton,
Yes.
I have a count of 22 yes, 2 no, 0 abstentions.
With a count of 22 yes, 2 no, and 0 abstentions, I declare TR 2022-58 to have passed. Now, some of you may be wondering why so many of these CARES Act funds are coming out. You use them or you lose them. So there was a halt over a certain period of time in the specific programming activities for CARES that was not utilized in 2020 and through 2021. So it made us have to be able to incorporate them now, since at that time period, there was no CARES presentations being brought to the General Council. Okay? So that kind of clears it up a little bit. TR 2022-59, Representative Gonzalez.
Tribal resolution of the General Council of the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma approving the Low-Income Home Energy Assistance Program, ARPA budget for FY 2022 and incorporation into the FY 2022 comprehensive budget. I make a motion to approve and ask for second.
So motion to approve, seconded by Representative Cootie. Any discussion on TR 2022-59? I see no hands, so Secretary?
Leetta Sampson,
No.
Anthony Conley,
No.
John Archamy,
Yes.
Rena Tiger,
Yes.
Anastasia Pittman,
No.
Terry Edwards,
No.
Nancy Fixico, Ida Gonzalez,
Yes.
Tamara Downing,
No.
Leon Petit,
No.
Joseph Billy,
Yes.
Dolores Harjo,
Yes.
Karen Fulbright, Ann Borba, Stephanie Lambert,
Yes.
Sina Yesla,
Yes.
Lottie Cootie, Ella Coleman,
Yes.
Shirley Watkins,
Yes.
Tiffany Thomas,
Yes.
Catherine McCoy, Charlie Hill, Tiffany Cully,
Yes.
Danita Harjo, Willis Dethridge,
Yes.
Desiree Emerton,
Yes.
I have a count of 18 yes, 6 no, 0 abstentions.
With a count of 18 yes, 6 no, and 0 abstentions, I declare TR 2022-59 to have passed. TR 2022-60, Representative Dethridge.
Here, this is a resolution, the tribal resolution of the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma General Council, authorizing and directing the Attorney General to investigate and seek relief on behalf of the nation and its members against unlawful state taxation within the boundaries of the Seminole Nation Reservation. Make a motion, we approve this. Ask for a second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Representative Dethridge, on this particular resolution, you had, asked for, maybe a clarification as far as the wording is concerned. Is that what you read? Was that Attorney General, is that the new wording that you read? Or you suffice with that? Are you suffice with that language? Because you had brought up a question about it early on.
I said this in an email to several people, that this introduction, this little bit of a synopsis, is somewhat misleading because we're not asking right now what the BCR basically is asking is that we get permission to pursue and look into this. If you read the last two, now therefore and further resolved, those two explain the resolution more clearly than this first little bit of a synopsis. So I just don't want anybody to be misled that we're fixing to file a lawsuit or something like that as a nation. We're not going to do that at this particular time. We at the BCR are just asking permission to get started and looking into this. So as far as that first bit of synopsis, it's not a major deal, but I had received a phone call or two saying, hey, how about an amicus brief involved in this thing? I told them, I said, no, it's not time for that, but it's time that we look into what we feel as a nation is illegal taxation on our tribal members. So that's what we're asking for, is permission to visit with our attorney, the AG, lay out some groundwork, and just look into this thing and get all of our ducks in a row, bring it back to the council for further action as far as litigation is concerned.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. And it's fine in the way that it was read in the motion in the second. It is good that the Attorney General, Mr. Duvall, obviously would be included in these discussions because she's recognized as the foremost tax attorney in Indian country here in the state of Oklahoma. So that's the stand at this present time. Representative Cootie, I saw your hand earlier.
She seconded.
Oh, okay, you seconded it? Okay, thank you. Thought I saw it after that as well. Okay, Representative Gonzalez?
My concern was the last whereas. It mentions that the BCR is going to assist in these lawsuits. And my concern was that we had enough money available to do this, and how much time, I know that's going to be it's going to involve a lot of time to do that. And where would the funds be coming from? And would it be, this is probably too soon to even discuss, being that this is just preliminary, but I was concerned whether or not on an individual basis, would they be represented them individually, or would it be a group action? And is the PCR really prepared to do something like that? And I do know that they handle our taxation.
Right.
It was just a concern, that's all.
I believe what they're going to do is a little bit more research and gathering. There is actually a suit already taking place within the Muskogee Creek Nation. So it may be they come back and just ask the Seminole Nation to join, a friend of the court or amicus brief on that particular suit, which won't be as expensive. That's probably really the direction that I would at least look at them coming back to the council to give that recommendation. But that's probably what happens. So I don't see that, that it would be that much if we go that route. Okay. Okay. Well, other discussion? TR 2022-60. I do not see any. So, Secretary?
Leota Simpson,
No.
Anthony Conley,
No.
John Narcome,
Yes.
Rena Tiger,
Yes.
Anastasia Pittman,
No.
Terry Edwards,
No.
Nancy Fixico, Ida Gonzalez,
Yes.
Tamara Downey,
Yes.
Leon Petit,
Yes.
Joseph Billy,
Yes.
Delois Harjo,
Yes.
Karen Fulbright, Ann Borba, Stephanie Lambert,
Yes.
Tina Yesla,
Yes.
Lottie Cootie, Ella Coleman,
Yes.
Shirley Watkins,
Yes.
Tiffany Thomas,
Yes.
Catherine McCoy, Charlie Hill, Tiffany Cully,
Yes.
Danita Harjo, Willis Dethridge,
Yes.
Desiree Emerton,
Yes.
I have a count of 21 yes, 4 no, 0 abstentions.
With a count of 21 yes, 4 no, and 0 abstentions, I declare TR 2022-60 to have passed. Now, we'll write straight up about 1 minute after noon, but we only have 5 resolutions and a few things that did not have no objections to discuss under other business. Does the council wish to push through to see if we can go ahead and finish up without taking a lunch break? Is that the consensus of the council? Anyone object to continuing on? Seeing none, we'll continue on. TR 2022-61, Representative Petit.
Chair, the sponsor would like to withdraw TR 2261.
Okay, that's noted. Sponsor withdrew TR 2021-61. Yes. 2022-61? Isn't that what I said? I did it? Oh, I'm looking at it. I'm reading off the paper. Okay. I don't know. What did I say then? I'll have to review the film. Maybe I need a lunch break, huh? All right, TR 2022-62, a tribal resolution of the General Council of the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma confirming the appointment of Billy Emerson Shepherd to the Gaming Enterprise Board.
I make a motion.
Motion was made by Representative Watkins, seconded by Representative Coleman. Representative McCoy.
Yes, just a real quick question. Sorry. It says tribal affiliation Seminole Nation, so, but the band membership was left blank. Could someone tell me what band he's from?
Ojeezy.
Okay, great. And then just one more thing. I mean, while he has a lot of accolades on there, what type of gaming experience per se does he have? Does anyone know, or is he on the call? Zoom?
He's available.
Okay.
We can give him a call.
If that's okay,
He's
just
not-
real quick.
He's not on our Ring Central, but he can be called.
Okay, appreciate it.
And I'll put it up to the microphone.
Thank you.
You'll be able to hear him but not see him.
Hey, I got his picture right here on this document.
Okay, take a look at him.
Right here in the back. Hey, Billy. So.
I'm going to place him on the phone.
Chair.
She still has the floor. Representative McCoy. We have Billy on the phone.
Well, I just wanted to make a note that he is our assistant band chief.
Oh, thank you.
Just stepping out of a meeting.
I'm going to put it up to the microphone. Mr. Shepherd, this is Chairman Johnson, and we have a question from Representative McCoy, and I'm going to place the phone up to the microphone.
Hello, sir. I just have one quick question. After reviewing your resume you submitted, could you just briefly tell me, particularly your gaming experience, please?
Yes, and again, again, my name is Billy Shepard. I apologize for not being there today. I had a prior engagement, and I actually, to your question, had a band chief, or I spoke with the band who pointed out that I had not updated my resume with any gaming experience, and so I apologize for that. But currently, I've been working on some casino projects with some other tribes as far as expansion, new builds. I work with current casinos, reviewing and drafting contracts with different gaming entities, different gaming machines. Pretty much every contract that would go through for a casino. I've sit down and visited with the NIGC on a few things. I've worked and helped work on management agreements with NIGC, and so I would tell you. I think somebody asked me if this job would suit me, or if this board would suit me. I would tell you that I don't know that I have all the experience that everybody would want for this position. However, I'm an attorney. I work with tribes. Not only do I have that experience working with the current projects and casinos I work with, but I also, work with tribes and all the other entities that go along with it. And so sometimes you have to consider those things. And then I also work with the firm that I'm working on. So I have access. You guys work on very big projects with different casinos and tribes all over the United States. And so I've been able to learn a lot just in my time working with them. So hopefully that will answer some of your questions on my current workings. I've worked on policy and procedure with gaming commissions and worked with tort claim issues. So I've definitely been involved in gaming for a while, but I just have not updated my resume. I kind of sent over pretty quick when Chief Johnson asked for something. He worked pretty quick to get it to him, so I wasn't able to update that. So I apologize.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you for giving me that information. With the information you just shared with your extent of knowledge of different tribes and casinos, could you bring some new innovative ideas to the gaming enterprise so that we could look at, I don't know if you know about this, but like up in Tonkawa, they have the hub. I don't know if you're aware of that and all the dynamics that goes on there, but I was just looking at different ideas to generate some more revenue for the tribe that, and I'm hoping that you could bring that forth to that board.
I'm very sorry, but I had a hard time making out some of what you just said.
That's okay. I can send it in an email if you are appointed to the committee. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Any other questions? Okay, I don't see any other hands. Thank you, Mr. Shepard, for your time. Mm-hmm. Please thank the General Counsel as well. Keep hearing about that hub. Creator grants us things that's being working on at foundational purposes. That's exactly what it will look like. It will look like a hub compared to the Seminole Nation. Okay. TR 2022-62. We have a motion and a second. No other questions, Secretary?
Leetta Sampson,
No.
Anthony Conley,
No.
John Narcomi,
No.
Rena Tiger,
No.
Anastasia Pittman,
No.
Terry Edwards,
No.
Nancy Fixico, yes. Ida Gonzalez, yes. Tamara Downey,
Yes.
Leon Petit,
Yes.
Joseph Billy,
No.
Delois Harjo,
No.
Karen Fulbright, Ann Borba, Stephanie Lambert,
Yes.
Sina Yesla,
Yes.
Lottie Cootie, Ella Coleman,
Yes.
Shirley Watkins,
Yes.
Tiffany Thomas,
Yes.
Catherine McCoy, Charlie Hill. Yes. Tiffany Cully.
No.
Danita Harjo. Willis Dethridge.
Yes.
Desiree Emerton.
Yes.
I have a count of 16 yes, 9 no, 0 abstention.
With a count of 16 yes, 9 no, 0 abstentions, I declare TR 2022-62 to have passed. TR 2022-63, Representative Fulbright.
Oh, boy. Okay. I'd like to introduce Tribal Resolution TR 22-63, a tribal resolution of the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma approving a one-time distribution from the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021 of $500 to each eligible tribal member for the purpose of household assistance in accordance with the state local fiscal recovery funds final rule. This resolution, if approved, will begin distribution on October 3rd, 2022. I would like to say, before I get a table or an amendment, that this is an amount that we're going to have to go with for now. We can't afford to give another $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 out to each individual. I just wanted to throw that in there before a table comes up. Ask for a second.
Motion approved by Representative Fulbright, seconded by Representative Borba. Any discussion? Representative Gonzalez.
Our band has requested that we table this item. They request that $500 is not enough due to the economy and prices all going up. They would like to see 22,000 or more. So that's why they requested to be tabled.
I want to share with you before you get a second on that. There's a proportionally distributed amount that's bound by the Congressional Act. So your desire, everyone else's desire here, my desire of anything more than that, we're at the threshold legally. You have a memorandum from the Attorney General. So executive is looking at this as this is right at that threshold. You want an Office of Inspector General to possibly come down on the Seminole Nation to try to do any more than that. Sometimes you make decisions to table or to go this. I wish we could give everybody a whole lot more. Our guidance is done through our consultant that we have hired, through also the final rule, and that's where it's at. So before you get a second on that table, that's just the way that it is, folks. You don't think your chief that sits here would like to see his people get more? It was the first measure that was passed when I came into office. So I'm an overseer as well, in a traditional way of our people. So I'm trying to help our people, along with the council, if that's what they choose to do today.
My concern was as to whether or not we can actually afford this. But as I said, it was the band's wishes.
I understand.
You know, they
Okay, there's a motion to table. Is there a second? Second by Representative Cootie. Okay. Yeah, no, the motion to table is what stands right now, and there's no debate on a motion once the second goes up, and there has been a second. So this is the motion to table. Okay, no other, there can't be discussion on the table. Secretary, call the roll.
For clarification, who's seconded?
Representative Cootie,
Okay. Leetta Sampson,
Yes.
Anthony Conley,
Yes.
John Narcome,
No.
Rena Tiger,
No.
Anastasia Pittman,
Yes.
Terry Edwards,
Yes.
Nancy Fixico, Ida Gonzalez, Tamara Downey,
Yes.
Leon Petit,
Yes.
Joseph Billy,
Yes.
Delois Harjo,
Yes.
Karen Fulbright,
No.
Ann Borba, Stephanie Lambert,
Yes.
Sina Yesla,
Yes.
Lottie Cootie, Ella Coleman,
No.
Shirley Watkins,
No.
Tiffany Thomas,
Yes.
Catherine McCoy, Charlie Hill, Tiffany Cully.
No.
Can you repeat that?
No.
Danita Harjo, Willis Dethridge,
No.
Desiree Emerton,
No.
Okay, I have a count of 16 yes, 9 no, 0 abstentions.
with a count of 16 yes, 9 no, and 0 abstentions, motion to table prevails. So that item is tabled. TR 2022-64, Representative Dethridge.
Yes, sir. Actually, we probably need to vote on TO 2022-05. Can I proceed?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Excuse me, sir. I said, we need to vote on TO 2022-05 before we take legislation on 64 and 65, or take action on those.
If I may,
Well,
Representative
if
Narcome.
these two don't pass, then you don't want to change that tribal ordinance. And I know,
This one would have actually been gone about an hour and a half ago.
yeah, I know it.
TO 2022.
Yeah, towards the end of business, which is after TR
Which one
2025.
you want me to, which one me to start with?
Say you pass a resolution.
No, I'm not talking about.
Say the resolutions don't pass, but you change the law anyway. You'll have to come back and change that.
Now, I don't necessarily see what you're saying. So you tell me which one of these you want me to introduce right now.
TR 2022-64.
64. This is a tribal resolution of the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma approving a one-time appropriation of $2,225,000 from the American Rescue Plan of 2021 funds to the ARPA Tribal School Clothing Program. Ask for a second.
We have a motion and a second by Representative Borba. We're on TR 2022-64. Any discussion?
Yes, Representative Narcome.
Representative Narcome, you have the floor.
If I may just suggest, let's have the big discussion all in one and just combine TO 2204
TR 2264 and TR 2265, all in one bundle, so that we could just have the big discussion and be done with it.
Chair doesn't allow that. We're going to go through each one individually.
Okay. Okay.
We have a motion on the floor, TR 2022-64. Any discussion? Representative Gonzalez.
Based on the funding source, does this also provide for school clothing just for the children? Is that allowable?
If it wasn't allowable, it wouldn't be on the agenda today.
Okay, because I think I had read something that had said something about it has to benefit all tribal members. So that was my question. Would it really apply if it says in that explanation that Brian had given us, Assistant Chief Brian, has given us about what the Attorney General had said? It had said, one of the paragraphs had mentioned that any monies being dispersed has to be for all tribal members. And clothing just to the children would not go to all tribal members. That was the question. But you're saying it does apply.
I wouldn't be bringing it to you if I didn't believe that it does, but it's a component of household assistance, negative impact due to COVID. Representative Coleman?
I think that perhaps on that further resolved on page 2, I would like to ask the sponsor if he would accept a friendly amendment to say per school year. It gives you a time period, but there's no clarification about the $200 occur in between. If you could add per school year program.
Attorney General wants to speak to that, if it's allowed to take the floor there. You got the microphone?
Oh, everybody's here.
There was a request of Mr. Deathridge to have a friendly amendment on the final paragraph for the $200. The language in the ordinance, which will be addressed here shortly, does clarify that it is per year. This is the funding source for the resolution to fund the program. There's 2 resolutions, one to actually fund it, one to suspend the original funds. The one we're working at right now is the funding one, and there is missing language. Sorry, there's unclear language as to how often the $200 can be requested. The program that we're funding through the ARPA will be for 2 years. So we're wanting to ask for a friendly amendment to the resolution to say $200 per fiscal year.
Is everybody clear on what the friendly amendment was? It's per fiscal year. It's a 2-year period as far as the request for the increase in the school clothing. Representative Cootie?
$200 per year for the 2 years that we're changing.
We had Judgment Fund Coordinator had taken, Director Coordinator, had taken in consideration the amount of eligible children. So that's why we had to allow it for the amount of eligible children as opposed to how many actually submit for school clothing in case we get more applicants because of the rise in the application process. Representative McCoy?
Could you just clarify which 2 years we're talking about this year, 2022 and 2023, or 23 and 24?
It will be we're about to go into the next fiscal year, correct? So it'll be the
fall of this year?
Yes. It'll be starting this year.
Next year.
Okay, thank you.
Representative Borba?
Yes, I was asking, you said it's going to start end of October?
You know,
Fall of this year, if it passes.
if it passes, you know, a lot of parents like to, you know, start school shopping like in August. So is there any way to make
It's
it?
going to go with the same pattern that clothing does through the judgment fund.
Okay, thank
It's
you.
going to go with the very same. Well, they start actually sending those out in August. But
Okay,
it's the fall semester of school,
So if this passes, then the applications will be sent out earlier.
just as judgment fund does normally.
Okay, but
Chief,
Uh,
this is Madonna with the Judgment Fund.
Yes.
Just clarification, the school clothing program is set for August 1st through September 30th of every year. And we do start dispersing applications starting July 1st of every year.
Right. August
So that-
through September is the period as far as the applications to get in. But you start at July as far as application process.
Yes, sir. Just to clarify.
Okay, sure.
Thank you.
Okay. Same way it's always done, just a little increase in funding. Representative Dethridge?
Thought you were addressing me and asking me a question about something.
No, someone asked on virtual, and I was
Okay.
I was talking with that person. Okay, if there's Representative Watkins.
Don't look surprised.
I'm not. Chair's not.
Okay. On the application, since this is ARPA funds, will the application be on the portal applications? You know, you have all the ARPAs listed on the website. So will this application be listed under that ARPA?
Wherever the judgment fund application normally is, that's where this application will be.
So under judgment fund, or is this ARPA?
School clothing assistance.
ARPA? Are you saying it's going to be under ARPA application?
Well, we have to designate that's the fund that it comes from, but that will be referenced. Has to be referenced that that's the fund that it's come from.
Just want to make sure that our band knows, you know, we tell our people to apply, go there for the application.
Yes, and if we need some clarifications, if indeed this passes, we'll put that in there. Okay. Okay, if there's no other questions,
Chair,
Representative Narcomi.
Yes. Earlier, there was when this idea first came up during committees, Representative McCoy had asked questions of the Judgment Fund Board. And I was prepared to make my speech then, but I'll give it now. Why was the board not brought into the loop on this one?
Well, you're over trust fund management, John. And if this thing passes,
Yes, but
it's
this
going to
affects the
help you
trust
out.
fund management. This affects the trust fund.
Believe me, you're going to save on this if this
I know.
measure passes.
Believe me, I mean, we back it entirely, but still, you selected and the council chose these members of the board to serve on the Judgment Fund Board. Being left out of the loop on this one makes us look silly, because we were asked questions that we couldn't answer because we did not know anything about it up until it was handed to
These
us.
ARPA funds are the business of the general counsel. And we brought every COVID item to this council for consideration, and we'll continue to do that in this administration.
But we could have
But thank you for your
assisted in answering
comments, though.
questions if we knew about it.
Would that have changed anything?
It might have. we would have been able to answer. We were all asked questions that we couldn't answer. Just a comment.
Okay,
Just,
appreciate
if
your
you're going to
comments,
affect- If you're
Representative.
going to affect any committee, let the board, let that committee know what's going on. Thank you.
Is Judgment Fund willing to give the extra $100 and move it up to $300?
That's not about that. It's about just letting us know what's going on.
Okay, we're trying to help the nation here, and our children at the same time. Thank you, Representative.
We're talking about clarity. If we ran on clarity, then be clear. Let us know.
Thank you, Representative Narcomi. Any other questions? Representative Dethridge.
I got not a question, but a comment. I wholeheartedly agree with Representative Narcomi. For far too long, the council or the administration has made decisions, not this particular administration, because y'all are new at the game, but previous administrations have inadvertently left out offices, just like Trust Fund Management Board, just like the SNGE, just like the SNGA, and they've changed the titles and done some things. And out of respect for those boards and those commissioners, the council or the administrative office should have kept those people in the loop in the past. So please let us be mindful that we need to keep everybody in the loop. Communication is so important, and we didn't have communication in the previous administration for a good while. So just, that's a comment.
I will say that the Trust Fund Management Board deals with trust funds of the Seminole Nation. And these are not trust funds, okay? And that we can't act like these ARPA funds are trust funds, even with the table that took place today. These are not trust funds. These didn't come out from our funds that we gathered from our general revenues. They didn't come that way. Any other questions? Representative Watkins?
Chair, that is so, but it's suspending the clothing fund, trust funds, monies. Therefore, it does affect our budget.
Well, yeah, it saves you a whole lot of money if this does pass. Okay. Secretary?
Leota Sampson,
No.
Anthony Conley,
No.
John Narcomi,
Yes.
Rena Tiger,
Yes.
Anastasia Pittman,
No.
Terry Edwards,
No.
Nancy Fixico, Ida Gonzalez, Tamara Downey,
No.
Leon Petit,
No.
Joseph Billy,
Yes.
Delois Harjo,
Yes.
Karen Fulbright, Ann Borba, Stephanie Lambert,
Yes.
Sina Yesla,
Yes.
Lottie Cootie, Ella Coleman,
Yes.
Shirley Watkins,
Yes.
Tiffany Thomas,
Yes.
Catherine McCoy, Charlie Hill, Tiffany Cully,
Yes.
Danita Harjo, Willis Dethridge,
Yes.
Desiree Emerton,
Yes.
I have a count of 19 yes, 6 no, 0 abstentions.
With a count of 19 yes and 6 no and 0 abstentions, I declare that TR 2022-64 have passed. TR 2022-65, Representative Dettridge.
Chair, this is a tribal resolution of the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma approving the suspension of the Judgment Fund school clothing program only upon the approval of TR 2022-64 and to be reinstated once the funds from the TR 2264 have been expended on or on January the 1st, 2025. Excuse me.
Okay.
Ask for a second.
There's a motion by Representative Dettridge, second by Representative Fulbright, and this is what, Representative Narkemy was wanting to join together. So here we are, 2022-65. We went over all the discussion, I think, in the last resolution, so this is germane to it. Any discussion? Okay, I see none. Secretary?
Leetta Sampson,
No.
Anthony Conley,
No.
John Narkemy,
Yes.
Rena Tiger,
Yes.
Anastasia Pittman,
No.
Terry Edwards,
No.
Nancy Fixico, Ida Gonzalez, Tamara Downey,
Yes.
Leon Petit,
Yes.
Joseph Billy,
Yes.
Dolores Harjo,
Yes.
Karen Fulbright, Ann Borba, Stephanie Lambert,
Yes.
Sina Yesla,
Yes.
Lottie Cootie, Ella Coleman,
Yes.
Shirley Watkins,
Yes.
Tiffany Thomas,
Yes.
Catherine McCoy, Charlie Hill, Tiffany Cully,
Yes.
Danita Harjo, Willis Dethridge,
Yes.
Desiree Emerton,
Yes.
I have a count of 21 yes, 4 no, 0 abstentions.
44, yes.
Oh, hang on. For this one? Okay. 21 yes, 4 no, 0 abstentions.
With a count of 21 yes, 4 noes, and 0 abstentions, I declare TR 2022-65 to have passed. Now we're back to Tribal Ordinance -2022-05. Representative Dethridge, this is Tribal Ordinance.
This is tribal ordinance of the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma amending the General Council Code at Title 18A, Chapter 3, Title School Clothing Program. Ask for a second.
There's a motion and second by Representative Fulbright. Representative McCoy.
I just have I need clarification. Isn't the General Council Code Title 16? And isn't Title 18A the Judgment Fund Program? So why does it say General Council Code for Title 18A, Chapter 3? Should it just be Seminole Nation Code of Laws, or because General Council Code is Title 16?
Right. We can make that amendment
We
where
could just
it's
do
more
Seminole
clarified.
Nation. Put Seminole Nation Code
Seminole
at
Nation
Title
Code.
18A.
Seminole Nation Code, Title 18A.
Right, but here it says General Council Code at Title 18A in the actual ordinance that
Okay.
that we're
It
looking
can
at.
just be changed to Seminole Nation Code.
Can you? hear you?
It can just be changed to Seminole Nation
Okay,
Code.
can we just have that on
Title.
record that we're changing just that verbiage to be correct? Thank
Is
you.
that accepted by the sponsors of the ordinance?
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay. Okay, with that slight change with clarification in the language. Secretary, this is for Tribal Ordinance 2022-05.
Leetta Sampson,
No.
Anthony Conley,
No.
John Narkemy,
Yes.
Rena Tiger,
Yes.
Anastasia Pittman,
No.
Terry Edwards, Nancy Fixico, Ida Gonzalez, Tamara Downey,
Yes.
Leon Petit, Joseph Billy,
Yes.
Delois Harjo,
Yes.
Karen Fulbright, Ann Borba, Stephanie Lambert,
Yes.
Sina Yesla,
Yes.
Lottie Cootie, Ella Coleman,
Yes.
Shirley Watkins,
Yes.
Tiffany Thomas,
Yes.
Catherine McCoy, Charlie Hill, Tiffany Cully.
Yes.
Can you repeat that?
Yes.
Thank you. Danita Harjo, Willis Dethridge,
Yes.
Desiree Emerton,
Yes.
I have a count of 20 yes, 4 no, 0 abstention.
With a count of 20 yes, 4 no, 0 abstentions, I declare TO-2022-05 to have passed. We are pushing on through to the uncontested other business that was mentioned early in the agenda. So we're there at the two representatives that had sent letters to the office of the chief. The chair announced early that there's two vacancies through leaving their seats and the declaration. Do you want me to read the letters? No? Okay, well, it's for Representative Natalie Harjo with Thiawathi Band, and it's for Representative Andrea Scraper with Nuska Parjo Band. What we do, according to Article 9, we'll just declare a vacancy of those two bands, of those two representatives. We're going to declare a vacancy, and then the two bands can take care of their business as they would. Representative Gonzalez?
Motion to accept their resignation, Natalie Harjo and Andrea Schaefer. And I would like to declare their seats vacant.
And there's a second. Is there any objections or any discussion about that motion? Is it very clear to everybody that the council is declaring vacancy in the Nutka Parjo Band, Andrea Scraper, and declaring vacancy of Thiawathi Band with Natalie Harjo? Okay, if everyone's clear on that, then we're going to take it to a vote. Secretary?
Leetta Sampson,
Yes.
Anthony Conley,
Yes.
John Narkemy,
Yes.
Rena Tiger,
Yes.
Anastasia Pittman, Anastasia Pittman, Terry Edwards.
Yes.
Oh. Terry Edwards.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you.
Nancy Fixico, Ida Gonzalez, Tamara Downey,
Yes.
Leon Petit,
Yes.
Joseph Billy,
Yes.
Delois Harjo,
Yes.
Karen Fulbright, Ann Borba, Stephanie Lambert,
Yes.
Sina Yesla,
Yes.
Lottie Cootie, Ella Coleman,
Yes.
Shirley Watkins,
Yes.
Tiffany Thomas,
Yes.
Catherine McCoy, Charlie Hill, Tiffany Cully,
Yes.
Danita Harjo, Willis Dethridge,
Yes.
Desiree Emerton,
Yes.
I have a count of 25 yes, 0 no, 0 abstentions.
Okay, with a count of 25 yes, 0 no, 0 abstentions, the declaration of those vacancies have passed of the Walkley Band and North Caparjo Band. Okay, let's talk a little bit about hybrid meetings. Are we past that now? What does the council want to do with the hybrid? Now, what we could possibly do if we go back in the session live, if we felt like we're a little tight here, the gym is prepared and going to be ready by the time the next council meeting. I mean, it's ready now to have a meeting. What does everybody, okay, Representative Coleman, I see your hand. You're recognized.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. I think in the best interest of the general counsel's conduct of business, where everyone can communicate with each other, if the gymnasium is prepared, ready for the next meeting, I would like to make a motion that we go to an open meeting in the gymnasium.
What it does is it provides additional space for us to still distance a little bit more with the full capacity of the council, with the tribal members who want to come and sit in the gallery. They can sit in the bleachers there. Is that all? Okay, Representative.
I just have a question. I haven't been to the gym since you guys have remodeled it. What are the acoustics? Because here it was feedback and it's just, I'm just curious, with a bigger area, the gymnasium, are we going to get a lot of feedback? Echoes, stuff like that?
What I've seen as far as the IT and obviously communications and language, a lot of that's been cut back recently in the last 2 months. Not to say that there hasn't been any, but they've done a pretty good job at finding them very quickly before the feedbacks creates a loop. Now, there is a brand new audio system that will have feedback sensors on it. So if there's something that begins to happen, it usually will cut it down immediately. So until we actually meet in there, I think it's going to be fine, though.
We'll tape, like, you're not going to take these tables. We'll just like regular, like, okay. And we'll just be spread out kind of.
Yes, we will. And we'll also cover the gym floor to protect it during those kind of meetings, if that's what the council desires to start going to that direction. Representative Cootie?
When are we going to be able to use other buildings for band meetings? We just had this building and everybody's schedules and.
You can start that now. As of June 1st,
North Community
we're
Building.
open. Well, North Community is still one of the hubs for ARPA, and child care is using it as there's some renovations going on, here at Miccosukee. Probably not North Community as much as, say, like, the gym, the council house, other community centers. As far as that goes,
Elderly feeding program.
housing authority, those types of things. We're going to open up those access to our people.
So we'll be able to use
Yeah,
those.
call and schedule it with property and or in housing authorities instance with their staff.
Thank you.
Chair,
Representative Watkins?
I second Ms. Coleman's motion for the gym.
You second the motion? Okay, repeat that motion to me because it is a verbal motion for the council secretary's sake.
I make a motion that the general council convene in the gymnasium for better communication among the council representatives as we conduct our business in order to comply with the COVID safe distancing. Is that
That's good. Constitution says the council will designate our meeting place, so that covers it.
This is forever and ever
Mr.
until.
Chairman,
You got that, Council Secretary?
Yeah.
Representative Gonzalez? I think for council representatives, it would. I believe we will still film them, so if the public wants to watch you in action, they can still watch you. And they did that before COVID anyway. They could see you. So we will ask council to be present. That's what the whole measure is about, isn't it? To get council back in person. Okay. Representative Hill, we got a motion and a second. Representative Hill.
Here, one thing I got here, is this gonna be temporary or is it gonna be permanent? Not only that, that's brought forward, COVID-19, whatever you wanna call it, virus, there's no time set where it's gonna end, okay? So this will continue on forever, and it's still, it still be considered as a council house. Moving down to the gym, my question, temporary, permanent?
Yeah, I think we have a new normal as far as COVID, but I do think that in the near future that it's going to the numbers are going to go down to the point. Right now, there's a little slight increase here in Oklahoma, even though they're down from what the numbers were previously. So I don't think the council ever sees it as something permanent. If you want to make a clarification in your motion, that's fine as well. What we foresee, if the council was to look at it, is being able to knock this wall out, put some supports on it, keep going back further to make a larger gallery, and then there's a room back there that new bathrooms could be made, and maybe a kitchenette. Okay, we may propose that, and that way that makes this place larger. And then we can actually distance a little bit better if the council would approve something of that measure. In that way, that gives BCR their own restrooms, and we're no longer congregating using same restrooms that a tribal program is using, but we'll be able to go all the way to the back. This building is rather large because domestic violence will be leaving this building. So we hope to do that, and we probably will bring that measure up at the next council meeting.
Not only that, as you're quoting about extending it further and all that, we can eliminate these forms. We have a lot of people that are what you call handicaps, some on wheelchairs, so forth. They would be looking at a folding chair. They have to vote on it. And some people are paying, et cetera. So those chairs are not feasible.
Yeah, what we could do is partial bench and partial padded chairs. Yeah, ADA compliant will cover that. So right now we're kind of in transition. You know, we got the floors done here. I don't say we, but you know the tribe did, and we intend to maybe bring that measure up. And then we can come back into the building. Mm-hmm. So is that understood? The motion okay like it is? Okay.
Sure.
Secretary?
Leah Simpson. Oh. Somebody have a question?
I had a question.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello, this is
There are
Leah.
questions.
Is that you, Representative Narcomi?
Yes,
I have one also.
I had it. Go ahead, Leetta.
No, go ahead, John, because you were first and then Anna.
Okay. Okay. Well, I am happy to accommodate the idea of meeting in person. As a representative of the Health Board, I must remind everybody that while the CDC has put in guidelines for meeting, they still don't recommend it. And that the pandemic is not quite over. I mean, in the near future, they probably will declare the pandemic to be over, but as you just stated earlier, Chairman, there has been a slight bump in infections. So I just, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention these things as a member of the health board for everybody to consider. Thank you.
Thank you for those comments, Representative Narkemy. Secretary?
I think Representative Sampson.
Representative Sampson? Would you,
Ms. Pittman was next.
okay, Representative Pittman, I can only hear sometimes voices. I don't see anybody's face virtually.
I'm sorry. Okay, thank you for taking my question, but, Chairman, Representative Narkemy said what I was going to mention. I would like to ask the author of the motion and to include that we can meet in person, which is always in accordance to the CDC guidelines. So as the numbers increase, then we implement the safety precautions. So I would love to meet in person to see everybody, but we will do it in accordance to the safety precautions that are recommended by the CDC and the Oklahoma State Health Department, because our numbers are still up in Oklahoma. So my question would be to the author of the motion, Ms. Coleman, if she would consider including that in her motion, because over the summer, if the numbers increase and we try to meet in September, we need to still have the hybrid meetings as an option.
Representative Coleman, do you accept if the numbers increase that we can move back to a hybrid meeting? Okay, she accepts that. Representative Pittman, if the numbers increase significantly.
Thank you.
Yes, she accepted that. Okay, with that exception. Okay. Representative Sampson, did you?
Yes, I still have a question. No one has addressed mine. If this passes today, how soon would these things start? It's what we need to know. That is my question.
How soon?
Yeah, how soon?
At the next council meeting,
Okay, you said you're gonna have another one this month, right?
June 24th.
Okay. The 24th.
It's the projected date.
It's a projected date. Okay, that's what I needed to know. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Secretary?
I have a question, Mr. Chairman.
Representative Pittman?
I'm sorry. Is there not a bylaw or a 30-day recommendation for the next meeting that we implemented, that we give an
No,
opportunity for our bands to meet, okay, to notify
no,
them?
there's a 10-day notice, constitutional wise and under Title 16.
Okay.
But
Just-
everybody knows that we're hoping to meet to submit the audit on the 24th.
Okay.
So we'll get the announcement out really soon.
Okay, I just, for myself personally, would like to meet on the 24th as virtual. And then after that, I can meet in person anytime. But I just wanted the record to reflect that I still need the virtual option for the 24th.
Well, I don't know. That it would take the sponsors of the last bill to accept that. Do you accept that?
Okay.
They declined to accept that.
Okay. We're just in the middle of a campaign, and June 28th is the election date. So that's
I understand.
GOTV. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Pittman.
Thank you.
Secretary?
Leetta Sampson,
No.
Anthony Conley,
Yeah.
John Narkemy,
Abstain.
can you repeat that, please?
Abstain.
Okay. Rena Tiger,
Abstain.
Anastasia Pittman,
Abstain.
Terry Edwards,
Abstain.
Nancy Fixico. Ida Gonzalez.
Yes.
Tamara Downey,
Yes.
Leon Petit,
Yes.
Joseph Billy,
Yes.
Delois Harjo,
Yes.
Karen Fulbright, Ann Borba, Stephanie Lambert, Sina Yesla,
Yes.
Lottie Cootie, Ella Coleman,
Yes.
Shirley Watkins,
Yes.
Tiffany Thomas,
Yes.
Catherine McCoy, Charlie Hill, Tiffany Cully,
Abstain.
Janita Harjo, Willis Dethridge,
Yes.
Desiree Emerton,
Yes.
I have a count of 17 yes, 3 no, 5 abstentions.
With a count of 17 yes and 3 no and 5 abstentions, going back to in-person meetings, start with the next council meeting. So I declare that verbal resolution to have passed. We have one more item, if you'll bear with us. That item is what we discussed at the beginning of the meeting, adding it under other business. And I'm going to ask Chief Palmer to come take the chair so that I can come down to the floor and discuss this with the council. We have, the band chiefs have been meeting consistently on consistent dates over a period of time now. And sometimes they have quorum, sometimes they don't. But at any given band meeting, there's openness to be able to ask questions that those band chiefs can take those matters back to their bands for discussion and for informational purposes. There are obviously some bands that's not participating in band chiefs meetings, but then when they get to the floor, they make a friendly amendment or something or another that could have been taken care of before it even got to the floor. And once that it's made and it's accepted, there's nothing as chair that I can do. I tried to explain it, but what we do have, and not, I guess everybody doesn't understand this, that we do have connections outside of our reservation, even if it's a mile outside of our reservation. Some of these are sponsored churches that are sister churches. They had a mother church at one time, and they're Seminole churches. So at the last council meeting, on I believe when this was voted on, it was within the exterior boundaries of our reservation. And I wouldn't be a good chief if I didn't try to bring this back, at least for your consideration today, under other business. But it's a tribal resolution of the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma, amending a program that benefits active, eligible, and historical significant churches and ceremonial grounds to include active, eligible, historical significant churches and ceremonial grounds within a certain geographical distance of the boundaries of the Seminole Nation Reservation. And basically within the whereases, what it has, it's a 5-mile distance. And that covers those sister churches that stem from the Seminole churches. Sometimes when we're making decisions, we don't go through all these detailed things. We don't, and then once it's motioned, I can't really comment on it too much as the chairman. But that's basically what it is. There are Seminole churches outside of the area, and some are traditional, some are significantly heavy populated with Seminole pastors, and that's what this is about. It's not about trying to, override what council has already done, but to explain these churches that lie in those particular instances to be allowed. We all know we have one ceremonial ground, you know that, We know that as a matter of fact. Okay, so that's what this is, and I'd like the council to consider it. It's not going to be an enormous amount of churches outside of the 5-mile radius of our reservation, outside of our reservation. So it's not going to be it was budgeted in when the original measure passed. So it's not like we're going to have to need more money for it. I'll take any questions. I can read the whole thing.
Representative McCoy, you have the floor.
You said it doesn't include that many churches. Do you at least have a number you can tell us?
I would
or
say it's under 5.
Under 5? Thank you.
But they were included when the original numbers came before the council. But sometimes when there's not time for an explanation, things pass very quickly. But you're talking about some large Seminole populations within these churches, and they all have Seminole pastors. Representative Cootie?
I have a question.
We provided for up to 30, I believe, churches, up to 30. And we gather that information by what we historically have done over the course of several decades from the Seminole Nation within this particular area. As far as traditional, what we call established churches, there are some that's not active, unfortunately, at this time. But when you talk about some of them, and I'm not going to mention their names, I know Ms. Coleman voted no, and that's probably the reason, I would think, because it left some of them out that should have been included. But we didn't get into that discussion. We didn't have a chance to do that. We allowed for 30. I believe, is that correct, 30? Yeah, 30. They're all affiliated Seminole churches. Some of them's traditional. Some of them are churches that are significantly Seminole populations with Seminole pastors. This is not a CREEP program. This is not like what we did under CREEP, which was an early judgment fund program, which basically looked at the established churches, but it also looked at the churches that maybe stemmed off some of those established churches as far as membership was gone. And even under CREEP, we acknowledged them back since when Judgment Fund first started in the early 1990s. Ms. Watkins and then Ms. Borba, Representative Borba, Representative Watkins. Representative Watkins has the floor. Chairman, can you do that?
Yes. Yes, and we do have one question online.
Okay.
Representative Watkins.
Okay, Chair, can you give me a total of how many churches have applied up to date, and how many of them churches have applied that you have already given the checks out to? The status?
So right now we've received 14 total applications.
You've already, of the 14, you've already give 14 checks out?
They've been issued, whether they've been picked up or not. I can't attest to that at this moment.
Okay, so, but you allowed for 25 churches? Is that the original count at the very?
Should be 30.
30, and then 14 of them has applied.
Plus a ceremonial ground. Yes. I believe it was Representative Borba.
If there is a church that has been active in the past, but due to circumstances of the building being damaged, but they would like to restart their church, and this 25,000 would help them, get started, would they be eligible or not?
Under the guidelines, as this is responding to COVID, if they were not open to COVID or during COVID or pre-COVID, then they would not fall within that final rule.
Okay, thank you.
And plus, they have to be active.
Okay, I believe we had somebody online that had requested the floor.
Yes, this is Sina.
Okay, Sina, Representative.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're fine. You have the floor.
My question is, those that are the 5 miles outside the boundary, are we going to service them if they've already been serviced through Creek Nation? I know that that's always been a question, even under Chief Harju as well.
To my understanding, at this point, we've had one church apply that the resolution would not have included, and they did not receive funding from Creek Nation. As far as the potentially the other four, I do not know if they've received those funds or not, but in conversations with our consultant, even if they had received funding, it's not an issue.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Representative Cootie. It would be 2024, December 2024.
And obviously, there's a certain amount of funds that's set there. So. Hey, do you want me to read the whole resolution, or is the council considering this particular measure?
I have a,
Okay, is there somebody else online that is requesting
yes,
the floor?
yes.
Okay, Representative Narkamy.
I would request that, the chairman formalize this resolution and to present it at the next council meeting to give the bands the opportunity to discuss this. Because without that discussion, the same bands that the bands had before on the original resolution still remain. So if there's a case to be made for extending this boundary 5 miles, then give the bands the opportunity to discuss that.
The bands didn't have an opportunity to discuss that friendly amendment, Representative Narkamy.
Yes.
As I said, we have consistent band chiefs meetings. During those band chiefs meetings, those items can be brought up. So when that
But
friendly
the band chief do not make the decisions for the bands.
when that friendly amendment was made, that wasn't taken before the bands. Might have been taken before
Not my band.
Your specific band, but it wasn't taken before the bands
No.
at large. You can always, if there's a motion to this in a second, you can motion to table it. But I don't think Chair has a motion to even approve it. So I'll just leave it at that.
Right now, you're presenting a verbal resolution, and I'm just stating, make it a formal resolution. That's on our agenda.
Chair,
Okay, Representative Watkins.
I make a motion that we approve, including these 5 miles radius.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
I had a question.
Okay, you have the floor.
Yes, this is Leah Sampson of the Bruner Band. I was asking because we have 2 churches within the boundaries that are members of the nation, the pastors are, and they're not receiving any type funding, and they presented applications. So are the freedmen excluded out of this as well, being a church within the boundaries and in the time zone of being there for, since we belong to Seminole Nation?
Okay, as long as they qualify within the provisions of that original resolution, then it would be approved.
Okay. Okay, so do I contact you with their information, or whom do I contact?
The applications are being accepted at the complex.
Okay, I know they have already turned those in. They haven't heard anything since December.
Okay, I'm having difficulty hearing you. Sorry.
Okay. All right.
Can you
Anybody-
repeat that, Leetta?
Okay. We have two churches in the boundaries. They are pastors in Seminole Nation, and they are members of the tribe. They have filled out applications for this funding, and they have not heard or received anything.
Okay, where did they submit those applications?
To the nation, down to the tribal enrollment office.
Okay, well, we can discuss this during normal working hours. I will reach out to you next week. We can discuss.
Okay, thank you.
Representative Cootie? As far as those that have received funding, once it's completed, yes, we sure can. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, we can get that on the portal. Any further discussion?
Has there been a second?
Yes.
Okay. I was going to make the motion to table, but if there's already a second, then that's that.
Clarification on that, John, Representative Narkemy?
Just that I feel I see the merits in this. One of the churches I grew up in is excluded. I am sympathetic to this request of the chairman. However, I am still under the orders of my band. If I'm to make this case, I have to make it to my band. So, that being said,
Vote accordingly.
I would like to.
Vote accordingly,
I will.
Representative Narkemy.
Yes, that's all I can do.
Okay. There's no further discussion.
Okay.
Secretary, call roll.
Let me read that again. Let me give it to Chair. Okay, we don't have. Just for clarification, when they're voting on it, just read that top part.
Okay,
Chair.
this is
I'm sorry, Chair. Could you please clarify what we're voting on?
yes,
Thank you.
that's what's,
Read the whole.
There been so much discussions and
okay, this is a tribal resolution of the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma, amending the program that benefits active, eligible, historically significant churches and ceremonial grounds to include active, eligible, historically significant churches and ceremonial grounds within a certain geographical distance of the boundaries of the Seminole Nation Reservation. Be it resolved by the Seminole Nation Council assembled, whereas Article 5 of the Seminole Nation Constitution empowers the General Council of the Seminole Nation to promote public health, education, and charity, and such other services that may contribute to the social and economic advancement of members of the Seminole Nation. And whereas the General Council acknowledges and appreciates that churches and places of ceremony and worship provide assistance in many forms to individuals and the community that have experienced severe negative impacts from the pandemic. And whereas the COVID-19 pandemic has created financial hardships from a decrease in revenue from donations, increased operating costs, challenges to fulfill financial obligations, and whereas, in areas of need for facilities such as churches and places of ceremony and worship that aid in the mitigation and prevention of COVID-19 in congregate settings. And whereas the Seminole Nation, by and through its executive department, wishes to provide financial assistance in the form of a one-time grant to active, eligible, historically significant churches and ceremonial grounds within or near the boundaries of the Seminole Reservation, whereas the Seminole Nation has received funds from the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021, and whereas the General Council has appropriated $750,000 of funds received from the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021 to create a grant program for eligible historically significant churches and ceremonial grounds through the passage of Tribal Resolution 2022-19 on April 9th, 2022. And whereas the General Council passed a friendly amendment to the resolution limiting the appropriation to only historically significant churches and ceremonial grounds found physical within the boundaries of the Seminole Nation Reservation, and whereas the General Council desires to amend the historically significant churches and ceremonial grounds assistance program by permitting historically significant churches and ceremonial grounds to become eligible for such a grant, subject to certain geographical restrictions. Now therefore be it resolved that the General Council of the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma hereby amend the historically significant churches and ceremonial grounds assistance program to include historically significant churches and ceremonial grounds found within 5 miles of the boundaries of the Seminole Nation Reservation, and further resolved, the General Council directs the administration to develop a process and procedure for the program to allow the additional eligible, active, historically significant churches and ceremonial grounds to apply for and be awarded upon approval financial assistance in the form of a one-time grant in the amount of $25,000 enacted by the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma General Council on this 4th day of June 2022. Representative Cootie. Yes. No further discussion. Representative Hill.
You're going to understand one thing which I haven't heard yet, okay? I'm over you and a lot of about overnight, okay? Back in our days, I don't even thought of it all that. The Indian churches that we have that are active today, Indian man, that was a preacher and all that, they were never ordained as today. You have to be ordained in order to be a pastor, okay? They're doing it now. So what gives? If you have an Indian church historically, as you read the resolution, it is active, okay? But they do not have an ordained pastor. You see what I'm saying? They did not stipulate anywhere in the resolution where a person had to be ordained. You understand where I'm coming from? It continues on, a tradition, our tribal customs and all that. These people sitting out here, as old as I am, I wish they could name an old Indian man that was ordained. No, you can't. We have what you call elders, the men, the women, you got women leaders, etc. Okay? What if they don't have a pastor, but the church exists? So we go ahead and give the money, the $25,000, to the active church that's in existence, but they don't have a pastor. That's my question. Okay, I'm not putting you down on anything or paying for what I heard from you reading. Okay. I don't care about the 5 miles and all that reservation, but I'm thinking, thinking back what we've been through, what's going on today. There's some old Indian pastors in Conroe that already passed away, his wife passed away, etc. But the church is still active. See where it's coming from? So when they're gone, we turn the 45,000 over to. I can see where it's going to be useful. Don't get me wrong, Hilltop is a good example where I was brought up at, okay? And our older pastors and all that. son, the father, and all that passed away. I don't know who's passed away. I know who goes there and all that, but that's my question. Right? We just pay people for this restored church, Indian church.
So those are part of the
active means
provisions.
they're meeting, Representative Hill.
Yeah.
Active means they're meeting. Like the ceremonial ground, of course, we only have the one, but if that fire's still going, you know, that's the only one that we have. I'm not going to get into that. Then, you know, that's none of this elected official's business, what's going on at the ceremony grounds, except to support them every chance we have an opportunity to do so. Every y'all's elected positions. There's traditional positions too.
Representative Coleman.
Chair, thank you. Since my church Hilltop was mentioned, we have a commissioned elder, an elder that has gone through training as an ordained pastor, so he can perform communion services, he can perform funeral services, wake services. So I would like to add that to Representative Hill's comments.
Okay, thank you.
Well, I think, and I understand what you're saying there, Charlie, but under the application, they have to be active. You know, if they're not having services or they don't even have a building and they're not active, you know, obviously they don't qualify underneath this particular application process.
Representative Coleman.
To add to that, the churches that receive these funds are responsible for the expenditures of the ARPA funds. So there is record keeping that's involved with this. And it has to be spent in accordance with the ARPA of the application that we had submitted as to the projects that we were going to use the ARPA funds for. So the churches are accountable, you know, for the funding. So there's no worries there. You know, if y'all request a report, and the churches will be able to provide a report. Like us, you know, we have Excel spreadsheets that we've developed to maintain accountability for our expenditures.
Yes, that is correct. So each organization is being counseled.
Just to let y'all
They
know.
understand that they can call if they have questions on how the funds are to be expended, because they do have to be expended within the provisions in the final rule. Can we please silence that phone? So, yes.
Charlie, I want to defend the top ground, the Seminole ground. We have one. We ought to be grateful we got one. That's traditional stuff right there. You don't interfere with their business. That ground has been named over 100 years, and it's older than you. And I vouch for that ground. So, you know, I'm standing up and defending that ground. Thank you.
All right.
Okay, there's no
Chairman.
further questions. Secretary, call roll.
Leota Sampson,
No.
Anthony Conley, John Narcomi,
Yes.
Rena Tiger,
Yes.
Anastasia Pittman,
No.
Terry Edwards,
No.
Nancy Fixico, Ida Gonzalez,
Yes.
Tamara Downey,
No.
Leon Petit,
No.
Joseph Billy,
No.
Delois Harjo,
No.
Karen Fulbright, Ann Borba, Stephanie Lambert,
Yes.
Sina Yesla,
Yes.
Lottie Cootie, Ella Coleman,
Yes.
Shirley Watkins,
Yes.
Tiffany Thomas,
Yes.
Catherine McCoy, Charlie Hill, Tiffany Cully,
No.
Danita Harjo, Willis Dethridge,
Yes.
Desiree Emerton,
Yes.
Okay, I have a count of 13 yes, 9 no, 2 abstentions.
With a count of 13 yes, 9 no, and 2 abstentions, I declare that measure to have passed. Representative Cootie? That measure passed in April by the General Counsel, yes. That I can attest to. Now, I'll turn the chair back over to Chief Johnson.
I retain my position as the chair. Yeah, that did pass at council level, Ms. Cootie. What we have now is, that's the end of the other business. Is there a motion to adjourn? But after we do that, we're going to pray, dismissal prayer. Okay, by
Second.
Fulbright, second by Stephanie Lambert. And Ms. Coleman, if you would, dismiss us in prayer this afternoon. Thank you for all your time, each and every one of you. Thank you. Okay. Okay.